fishing license sales, those kind of things. The thing to understand here is this is a capital outlay. So this is for infrastructure, strictly for acquisition, restoration, enhancement. So if your waterfowl license, which is $12, $9 of that goes into a fund called the Waterfowl Hunt Stamp Fund. That fund by law, so those funds are to be used strictly for restoration, enhancement, and acquisition of wetlands for the benefit of waterfowl.
Yeah, this was our
These funds cannot be used for the operation of managed waterfowl areas. So there is a portion of the $12 fee from your waterfowl license, so $1.93, it's very specific in law, that goes into a separate fund, which is our waterfowl fees fund. And those funds are designated by law to be used for the management of managed waterfowl areas. So I just wanted to put that in context. This $1 million here is for wetland restoration, enhancement, and acquisition. It can't be used for managed waterfowl areas. So as there's revenue that builds up in that fund, we ask for an investment to be able to use that for enhancement and restoration projects for wetlands. So those are some highlights on the ongoing investments. I mentioned just a few things on the one-time side. So on the one-time investments, there are a mixture of things here. So you'll see a few items here that are connected with game and fish funding. So this would be revenue from hunting and license fees and investment revenue. So let me just mention that. So there's a few items on here. So the state game and wildlife area infrastructure, your fisheries infrastructure, cormorant population management, and fisheries equipment. Those are the four that are funded with game and fish. But it's important to understand this revenue, it's one time. This is really coming from one-time investment revenue. We lack the resources from hunting and fishing license revenue to be able to do these infrastructure. So as we have revenue from investments, which as has been mentioned is a little bit unpredictable, but as we have that on a one-time basis, we try to chip away at those infrastructure needs. So put a little bit money toward some of those needs at the state game and wildlife areas, or the fisheries, the hatcheries, and some of those needs. So this is just simply trying to chip away at that infrastructure backlog a little at a time with some one-time investment money that's been generated.
Yours doesn't seem as bad either, Brian. You're just picking up everyone else's stuff.
Nature awaits, your white.
All right, everyone, we are back. We kind of restarted the live. We had a bad echo. We're still trying to get this whole entire audio thing to make it as clear as possible. It seems to work, and then it all of a sudden just goes bye-bye. So bear with us, but today's going to be a cool day. Hopefully, I don't know about cool. I'm not like a huge proponent of earn a buck, but it sounds like they're going to make an amendment to it, and it's going to be a little more like, I guess, make sense to all of us, like why we would do it the way that they're talking now, instead of like shoot a doe and then use a buck tag anywhere in the lower peninsula. At least now it's going to be in the area, that 5-zone or 5-county, or
we hope
pilot program is what we're hoping for today.
For sure. Well, it's amended. Yeah, there's a hope there.
There's hope.
At least that way you can to some extent get like realistic data.
Yes.
I mean, that isn't incredibly complex to try to decipher.
Well,
and I don't think there's going to be that huge influx of people from outside the county, like guys from up north going down south, like you would see the way they had previously proposed it.
I saw guys online talking about how they were going to do that. We like joked about it, but seriously, it's like,
we didn't joke about it. I reached out to a friend of mine and said, hey, can I come shoot a doe at your property? But it was not because I needed $2. I mean, I think we've gone over it multiple times. Like, I haven't killed a buck in Michigan in a long time. I don't need two. But it was like, okay, if this is one of those things that's out there, I at least have to know how the program works.
Yes, true.
Because if you have a program, somebody's going to know how to manipulate that program.
Which is what they want. They want more does shot in those areas to see how it works. And if the local population isn't going to do it, then you're going to hope they get assistance from other people in other areas of the state. And I think that could still happen even with this way, just maybe a little less chaos on skewing the data.
Yeah, I think it'll mimic like a whole region. You know, if a whole region goes into the earn a buck type of earn a second buck operation, this will at least mimic it more closely than what they had previously proposed.
Can you? I just don't know how you'd track that. All right, we got all these guys shot does, but then bucks got shot elsewhere in the state. And were those Erna bucks? Were those in what counties? Like, are they neighboring counties? Are they 2 hours away? Are they deer camp bucks? Like where? Like it's really hard to track it the original way.
Yeah, theoretically, you could probably figure it all out from looking back at the registration where they got registered and which tag it was registered to and all that stuff.
And that's a lot of legwork to get your data that you truly need. I think, as we talked about before in the last live, it comes down to trust. And if we can get people to actually be honest so they can collect the correct data, we'd probably kill a lot of these issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, anything we missed, if you guys are listening to this later, because I know some people do tune into these and watch them after, tonight or later this week. They went over some budgetary things, some things they wanted for the budget, didn't get it. And then the House was proposing some major cuts, and there was a few cuts. The biggest one was like a $5 million cut for, I can't remember, like it was like a allotted money or something. Opposed to I don't know, they're trying to cut over $100 million probably. And then now we're on to the managed wildlife area stuff, trying to get through these things. There's a few other things on the itinerary here and before public comment begins. But the majority of the guys here are all focused on the Erna-Buck stuff.
Can you adjust closed caption size?
I'm not sure.
Maybe. It'll be right there. So it'll turn it on, so you can have
Click
two
for
separate.
settings. Click, what did it say for settings? We're still
right
trying to work through our technical difficulties, and like Nate said, we are going through some different things right now, budget wise, and we see that the managed waterfowl areas are popping up. Not that we don't absolutely care about those things, but there the captions are bigger. Fantastic.
Yeah, we got double captions, but at least you can see them now.
Yeah. And we are sitting here doing our thing, color commentary over the NRC again. We appreciate everybody tuning in. And Nate, you want to give shout outs to our peeps?
Absolutely. I'm going to start off with Yellowstone AI because they got that cool, the cameras. If you, how does that work? If you refer a friend, you get you buy a camera, refer a friend, you get free data for a whole year.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then your friend gets $100 off a new camera.
For sure.
And it's a limit of 4 cameras.
It is.
For that. So if you are wanting to add some cameras to your arsenal and want to try something that's on an easy try it deal, I mean, free data for a whole year, that adds up really quick, especially for 4 cameras. And then you also can help your buddies out. And I think, we're using a code for that if you want to use the code ROAM.
Yeah, you are all our friends, and we would like you to use our code.
Yeah.
And you can use our code ROAM, ROAM, and you will get free data for an entire year.
Yep. So that'd be awesome. I really like those cameras. Me and Skeeter were at a meeting yesterday, and I showed him a picture. I had this picture randomly come through, and I was like, what is in it? Like, it's not windy. And I zoom way down the creek, and it's like, holy cow, there's 2 deer crossing way the heck down.
It was like 50 or 60 yards.
Yeah, so far. Like, I don't think I would shoot them with a bow from my camera,
No.
like where they cross. So really good cameras. The app seems to be very simplistic, which I love. It's not too detailed. Like, I want to see my cameras, click a button, see the cameras, click a button, see pictures, easy adjust settings. So that's Yellowstone. And then we can, Vitalize Seed. Thank you to everyone who's bought seed from us or from me this year. Carbon Load, where me and Brian have got some plots we got to put in here really quick.
I have all of mine in.
You do?
Yes. Some of it's doing really, really well. The sandy soil, I've got it in a week or 2 ago. I can't remember. The sandy soil, we haven't been getting much moisture. It's like a 0.2 of an inch here, 0.2 of an inch there.
Yeah.
But the stuff that's, more loamy soil, that stuff is really looking good. It looks good behind my house. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got a 3-day and a 9-day update from a guy that bought some, and after 9 days, I couldn't believe how great it looked. And that was before this last wave of storms and rain we've got. So his plots are taking off. I have one plot I put in It'll be 2 weeks this weekend, and I haven't been back there to look at it, but I'm very excited to see what that plot looks like. And then, yeah, next week and the week after are gonna be my big push for getting the rest of my plots in for that.
It's definitely going to be the week after for me, but I do have, no surprise, the bag that I bought from you is still sitting exactly in the same spot in the back
That's
of my
fine.
truck
That's
where it
fine.
was. But I've got some plots to put in to plant my shooting lanes and some other smaller areas. So I've got 2 acres worth of seed that I can spread out. So really looking forward to putting that down and getting some green.
I'll tell you the stuff I had last year. I planted half of a food plot in Milo, half of a food plot in Vitalize. The half that was in Vitalize, and I let it come up, and I put the Nitro Boost into it with just broadcast it and then ran it over. The Nitro Boost didn't necessarily do well, but when we tilled it back down to, or the carbon, yeah, the Nitro Boost didn't do that great in the summer, but when we tilled it back down, where I had the carbon load from last year, it's doing way better because there's so much of that rye,
Yeah.
and the soil's holding way more moisture. There's probably more soil biology and all that stuff. But yeah, I would say you can see a distinct difference in the field for what was Milo, what was carbon load
Interesting.
last year.
Just more organic material in there and just kind of helping, which is what we kind of saw last year on the plot I did. Like this spring, I was like, ooh, the soil was looking way better. I wish I would do a better job of taking before and after pictures, like dig it down and be like, oh, look what used to be here, and now look what we have.
Yeah, you can see a little bit in the soil change. It's a little darker, but I think part of that is just because there's just that rye turns gray and starts breaking down and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to get that all done. I'm actually dropping some seed off to a guy after this meeting, so busy day. But yeah, then we got DH3. I know talking to Jake this morning, he's like, I need more stuff. I think he's got 12 scrapes he's done, and he wants to continue. He's a madman with scrapes, so all the guys been using DH3 this year, and I like just mock scrapes. Good place to have a camera, good place to kind of see what deer are doing. Wildlife Legends Taxidermy, shout out to them guys. I saw that. They were at a competition about a month or 6 weeks back, and Benjamin did pretty good. It seemed like, I don't know if you saw that or not online. So they're
Doe on my scrape with DH3 right
right
morning.
this morning.
Yeah, just
Skeeter's
a
got a
few
deer
hours
on it.
ago.
Love it. So yeah, DH3 is great. Wildlife Legends Taxidermy in your taxidermy, European mounts, waterfowl, bear. If you guys start shooting some bears here in the next, few weeks, you can go check them out. Ina Store. We are probably, sounds like we kind of got a date in the calendar to help Ina Store out with some food plots with some of their equipment and stuff.
Yeah, Rich said 22nd works pretty good for him, so he's gonna make it work. I think he's got a Great Plains or a Lampride. I
Okay.
can't remember which. He's got one of those to a planter, no-till to put in that we're gonna use. He said we're just gonna grab a bunch of crap and we're just gonna
Make it happen.
make an afternoon or whatever of it. So that should be pretty fun.
But yeah, big shout out to Rich and
He was one of the first guys that I reached out to, and he wanted to support Rome and everything we're doing. So really appreciate that. Him and my dad have been friends for a very long time, and yeah, his story is pretty cool. Family loves hunting, spend time outside. Skeeter, you want to take a couple?
Yeah, man. We got what do we have?
Got Max, got
Max.
2-0, got
Yeah,
anyone you want.
Well,
Whitewater,
Brenton.
whatever.
Let Brenton
Oh,
USA.
yeah,
Brenton
Brenton,
USA. Get over to their website and check them out. They're a supporter of the show. They give us a code, Experience Wild 10, and you will get 10% off your online order, and that's significant when you're talking about $2,000 rifles.
Yep, pretty awesome.
Yeah, great
Pretty
guns.
awesome. Yep, they're sweet.
Hopefully you saw
I
the
like
video of
seniors
me
dumping those does.
sniping does with crop damage permits with a 6.5 Grendel at 250 yards.
Yeah, it's a great gun. I got to see, and is that the gun I looked through?
Probably.
Right, the
Well,
one Kyle
it
had
was
with you?
one of them.
One of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really nice AR style gun with just, you can tell it's not a, just your run of the mill AR. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
So it's a nice gun. But yeah, whitewater
Yep.
fishing gear.
Whitewater gives us code too. We'll link that in the show notes.
Yep, all that stuff's in our show notes. And then 2.0 and Blocker. 2.0's got the new stuff, the new camo pattern that came out, the Fulcrum hoodie, and then a couple jackets and some new pants. I am definitely going to be ordering and getting a hoodie and those pants and maybe one of the jackets, but usually I don't need a big, heavy jacket.
I got the Fulcrum hoodie.
You do?
I do.
Tell me about the Fulcrum hoodie.
The Fulcrum hoodie's pretty rad, man. I wanted to wear it out. I was doing a promo video for Yellowstone and went out and I brought my Fulcrum hoodie with me and I put it on, but it was just one of those 90-degree days. And I was like, okay, wanted to wear the mask and things like that that's built in. That just was not going to happen. I imagine that if it's 70 degrees or less, you'd be really comfortable wearing that down to cold. So the only place I've got to wear it so far is in the deer cooler. So I've had it on a couple times when I've been standing in my deer cooler working on meat.
So is that a hoodie you could just wear with a vest if you wanted?
For sure.
And you could still put a couple things on underneath it, like if I wanted a few more base layers and then throw that on?
It doesn't. It's not one of those real clingy ones. It's got a little bit of room. So we'll buy it for the size that you are. I mean, I'd buy an extra large and it fit like an extra large, and I could probably put a base layer plus another shirt underneath it and be absolutely.
Did you get it in the
fine.
new camo pattern, or did you get it solid?
No, man, I got solid.
Yeah, I like solids, but like I kind of feel like that'd be a nice hoodie to have two, like have solid and then have a camo one. I feel like,
and that's my thing. I'd love to have two of them.
I want to see that new camo like in person. We saw like a glimpse of it, but I really want to see it like in the woods to see how light the light is and dark the dark. Because I like a camouflage that has the base, the foundation of it is very light with dark things coming across it. That just seems, that's what I like.
That's exactly what I like too. I don't like when you're 100 yards away and you see a guy walking, and it's like that's just a black blob, and you put the binos up. He's like, well, he's wearing real tree or whatever, the standard thing. It's like he just looks like a black blob out there. So
yeah, you and I can't get away with trying to melt into a tree.
Yeah, we don't. Our blobs are
There's
too
a
big.
tree growing out of that tree.
Our blobs are too big. Oh,
I agree though. That contrast camo is the best when you start talking about lights and super darks. It just shadows in the woods, right? And I think that we've established working with some of the rifles that we've been working with. It's like black is the most disruptive thing that's out there. Like you could have white camouflage on and probably be less disruptive than a very blacked out camouflage.
Black, yeah, exactly. There's definitely a difference there. Trusty Arrow, I got a new piece of equipment sent to me from Jake at Trusty Arrow. I got the Hoyt Go sticks on my bow, and then he's got an attachment method that makes it like a tripod leg, so then the cam don't sit in the dirt when I use my Go sticks. So a lot of, like use the front two legs go down, and then your cam is like the third point of contact. And my cam, you can tell, it sits on concrete sometimes, and it's getting a little beat up, but now he's made it so there's a third leg that goes on there, and then it keeps that cam off the ground. So summertime shooting, 3D shooting, all that stuff. I mean, maybe if I'm a ground blind or blind, I'll keep it on there. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool thing. He's been selling those pretty good. So Trusty Arrow, he's got a couple different SKUs, and yeah, I really like working with Jake. And yeah, he's just a guy I met on an archery range, so it's kind of a cool relationship how that started.
Do you use that rut puck for your cameras?
I used it for GoPro last year with my wireless mic hooked to it, and it worked out pretty good.
I think I'm gonna have to look into one of those.
Yeah,
I might have one for you. So in the garage, so I might have one. But yeah, I
might have one in my truck for you.
Yeah, I know I had some extras, and I can't remember who I gave them to and who I didn't. But yeah,
well, you gave me a box of stuff and said this has to go to Adam, and then Adam was at my house, and I said this is for you, and then he walked away and left that box. So
Brad never got his stuff probably.
Been looking through it, and I see that there's a rut puck in there.
Yeah.
So if it's stuff that has to go to Brad, I'll add a hat to it, and then we'll get it in the mail.
That's awesome. Sorry, Brad, if you didn't get that stuff at TAC like you were supposed to.
It was in my truck at TAC.
Good deal. All right, yeah. What else do we have there? Is that everyone? I feel like I'm missing someone. I usually go through quick. Oh yeah, Matt's Rustic Sport Shop in Howard City there. He's going to be a big contributor to an event that we're going to be doing in December. I don't think we want to say what the event is, but you can put two and two together. We got something in the works. So
We're cooking with gas.
yep, Nick over there has been a big supporter and looking forward to that. He's a good asset to have with the team. And if you're in the area, you need some fishing stuff, get a lot of that. Got snacks, bows. I know there's latitude stuff there. He's got a small selection of kind of a little bit of everything, boots and. There's a lot more fishing stuff I feel like there. Like I'm not a fisherman by any means, but Tony was very excited to know that he was on board because he loves going there and seeing all the goodies.
I love
that they
fishing
have.
stuff.
Yeah, Skeeter, like you got enough of it though.
I do.
You don't have to go buy
I don't
any.
need any more
you got
fishing
walls
stuff,
of stuff.
but
It's great.
it's fun.
Yeah, it's great. I don't know. Usually I go through it really quick, so or like I just start.
I think we've
just
covered.
going.
I think we've covered everybody.
Yeah, so
We've
Sweet.
got a lot of friends and friends out there in the industry who
Yep,
definitely
that was the
support
first one I
us.
did. Cameras were the
So-
first one I did. Yeah.
If we didn't mention you, just know that we're trying to do this and read whatever this guy's saying at the same time. And
He's from the History Channel.
is he from the History Channel?
That's what I said.
Oh, interesting. Anyways, if you see the hats me and Skeeter have on, we do have some Rome merch. I don't know if these hats are on our website or not. Brian, I got a few of them in the car for you. But you can get some T-shirts and hoodies and all that stuff. We have a shop that's on. I linked that to the podcast last couple episodes.
Those are not. These hats are not going to be on because we got these from a different vendor.
Place, yep.
So,
But if you're interested in some hats, I mean, if you look on social media, Joe is making some hats. I think we're going to do a pre-order or something to kind of help with that. So if you're interested in any hat, like Rome Outdoors hats or Rome Syndicate hats, we have the ability to get a lot of different stuff. Reach out to me or any of us, and we'll get you a Venmo thing, and you can send some money, and then we'll ship you some hats.
I think we can sell a truckload of the Jake hats.
Oh
Yeah, I want one. My wife
Yeah, my
wants
kids
one.
want one.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of kids in the
It
community.
was actually
that,
Brad.
yeah.
Was
That
it?
was a Brad hat.
Yeah, Brad came up with that one.
Well, Brad might need to get a free hat because
Yes.
Elvis wants one.
Oh yeah.
She saw that and I said, "Look at this hat." She goes, "Can you give me one?"
Yeah.
But yeah,
We should just get one Rome hat that's just covers everything.
Like, what do you mean? Like, has everything on it?
No, it just says Rome, so we don't have to
Yeah.
have one for the syndicate, one for the.
If you don't think we'll get in trouble,
We can try it.
Who's gonna yell at us?
Well, now that we have these patches, we can just order a bunch of patches too, can't we?
We can.
And then you can get the same.
But
But we can order heat ones, and
We
Joe
are
can
the
just,
beefcakes. I mean,
We
we
are
are
the
talking
beefcakes,
about
yes.
getting in trouble by one person. We're four and outweigh
Yes,
that one by
true.
a lot.
True.
So
I love it. Love it. But yeah, thank you for joining. Hopefully, we get this Earn a Buck thing kind of sorted out and see what the pilot program is going to be. There's a few guys speaking on it. We'll see what the day goes. We might sign up for a 3-minute conversation. We kind of forgot to get on the 5-minute one this week.
kind of jealous of this guy's hair.
Yeah, what's
Does it
he,
look
so what's he
very-
talking about? We should turn this back on. I'm kind of intrigued what the history
Amazing to
Channel
see,
guy
but this
wants.
is problematic, and what we're seeing is a direct impact on our users trying to enjoy the public resource. There was a slide that was shown earlier about a House proposal that showed a $19 million cut to the law enforcement division, along with a cut of 233 employees, which presumably would have impacted every division, including the law enforcement. To put a human face on this, just a few days ago, our conservation officers were involved with the rescue of 3 individuals. You take away the funding, you take away the personnel, those rescue operations become more and more difficult. These impacts have real life, everyday impact on all of us. We might not realize it, and we often take it for granted. Commissioner Walters is chair of the Wildlife Committee. I'm chair of the Fisheries Committee. We've been working on a little something, a resolution to get a funding increase to share that resolution with our state partners. And Madam Chair, I don't know if this is just a good time as any, instead of saving it for later, to go ahead and just do the resolution now, or would you rather wait till later? Sounds good.
Just a comment. Thank you for stepping up and being the spokesperson for all the various groups related to duck hunting. It takes folks like you that take the leadership to do what you've accomplished. And I think that's a massive step forward. And duck hunting and the water the waterfowl and the wetlands are the tip of the iceberg. This is not just a duck hunting problem. This is problematic across all wildlife and all fisheries in this regard. So your leadership is not taken lightly. So thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot.
How long is the meeting gonna be? Nick's asking.
All right.
Well, we
thank
are-
you.
1:30. That's my guess.
So to wrap up, one number on that slide, I want you to remember in that slide deck, $114,000.
We are to E, we have F,
The amount of money that goes to
so I'm guessing that's
operations.
gonna be another hour-ish. And then we have
Remember the long slide showing what all the costs are to operate those.
21
areas. So
5-minuters.
That's a broken
There's quite a few.
funding model, okay? When we tell people we only get $1.93 per waterfowl license to run,
Divided by 60.
that means staff,
That's almost 2 hours
operations.
of 5-minute
People are
comment.
like, that doesn't make
Then
any
we'll get, so I'm guessing we're looking at
and a long-standing thing that needs to be adjusted.
2.5
And this is
hours.
my 30th year in the DNR.
Second buck.
For those of
Yeah.
you that don't know me, it's my third time trying to get
Yeah, I'd say 2
through
o'clock, Nick.
a license fee structure change. And it is so difficult. And a lot of times I don't understand
eight.
why the natural resources of Michigan are at the back seat. They deserve better. You deserve better, the people that use them. And frankly, the people that don't pay in the system need to come to the table. So that's part of the conversation we had at the legislature this week as well. I used to work some of those managed areas early in my career. I was a seasonal for 7 years before I ever got a permanent job. My first permanent job was a wildlife technician at Point Mouillet State Game Area. That's a managed wetland area. So I understand it hurts deeply for me. I bleed green. I've been here 30 years. It hurts deeply for me. It hurts internally, it hurts externally, and it hurts personally. And I want you all to know that. Many of you don't even know we have the largest state forest system in the country. We have the largest state park system in the country. We have the Great Lakes, the largest freshwater system in the world. We have 11,000 inland lakes, 52,000 miles of rivers and streams. You're never more than 6 miles away from a lake, river, or stream in Michigan. We deserve better for our natural resources in Michigan. So I know you've heard our director talk about that in the past as well. And I hope that moving ahead, we'll see support when the legislature comes back into town so that we can have meetings ongoing and not have this be the end of the discussions. So thank you for that. All right, that ends our budget piece. We're going to move around a few things on the director's report here. I'm going to skip the scientific management resolution update. We're going to move that after public comment. And I'm going to move the Prairie River
forget the
temperature
science.
redesignation
Forget the
after
science. We're gonna do
public
it at the end. I
comment.
wanted to hear about it right now.
And we're going to have the Parks and Recreation Division folks come up to talk about a couple land use orders.
So
I
we're
see Chris is here, Chris Stark, and our Assistant Chief of Parks.
They had a
Thomas.
thing up there that
Yeah.
said this exact thing, Parks and, so that one's my fault.
Yeah, you're
Deputy Director Lott,
off a little bit, Brian.
Chair
It's
Humphreys, Commissioners, thank you very much for the opportunity to come today and present a handful of land use order and wildlife conservation order amendments for the Parks and Recreation Division. My name is Chris Stark. I work with our regulatory unit. Sitting with me today is our Assistant Chief, Tom Bissett.
Skeeter's got
So
some
today we do
comments
have
now.
quite a few order amendments
I
today,
think if
but
you did it on your computer though, it would show it on our screen.
nothing's
so
too
we're
hard
good.
hitting that we shouldn't be able to get through this in a pretty decent amount of time. So what we do as a unit is we look at various orders on an annual basis in an attempt to make sure that we're providing the right information to the public and the right tools for our staff to be able to manage our facilities. We try to do this once a year, bring these orders in a timeline that makes it so that we're not making any type of huge changes during the middle of our peak season. So a lot of these will have much more of an effect in the upcoming year than they do now. So the first amendment I'd like to present to you today is a amendment that will add some enforcement authority to authorize parking spaces. So across our system, we have some various parking spaces that are labeled for things such as maybe staff parking at a large state park day use area, such as maybe Ludington State Park. So someplace where staff can come in and have greater access for emergency responses, the ability to clean the restrooms. and do other things such as that. We also have places where our harbor customers, they're staying overnight, they need a place to park their vehicles, and so those are signed in a similar fashion. So what this would do is it would just kind of codify the ability for our staff to enforce that. We do not want to have this be something that is used across the board and be an impediment to the public use of our facilities. And so we do have a process put in place where this will be looked at with some scrutiny by our supervision, our district supervision and division leadership to make sure that it's not something that becomes an impediment to the use, but just want to make sure that we have the ability to take care of this in situations where it happens. The next amendment is involving the Rice Creek property. The department acquired a 58-acre parcel in 2014 with funding from the Natural Resources Trust Fund. This property in Calhoun County includes 4,000 feet along the Rice Creek. It has been administered since 2014 through the Fisheries Division. It was main reason for acquiring was for trout stocking. However, it's been directly managed by the Calhoun Conservation District through a lease. As a fisheries facility, hunting has been prohibited on this property since our time that we acquired it. It's currently in the process of being transferred to the Parks and Recreation Division. And with that, it would become open to hunting of all kinds, just because of the different rules that we have on our facilities. The Calhoun County Conservation District was not necessarily in favor of the property becoming open to hunting. Because it's a small property, there's quite a bit of recreational development that has taken place on the property. However, it is located in an area where there's kind of there's not a lot of public hunting land in lands that are managed by the department. So conversations with our Wildlife Division and the Parks and Recreation Division, we were able to kind of come to a compromise with our partners in Calhoun County to prohibit basically the discharge of a firearm, but allowing the property then to remain open to archery hunting and trapping. So.
I have a question.
Yes, absolutely.
Natural Resources Trust Fund has prioritized hunting. Do they still have that provision, and did you discuss it with the trust fund board?
So I don't really know. I don't have that information, as this property was acquired in 2014 and was immediately at that point not open to hunting. So I wasn't in this position at that point in time. So I'm not qualified to answer that question right now. Mm-hmm.
If you would, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Next amendment that we're proposing. The Ionia Recreation Area in its field trial area was put up last year to be part of a group of parks that had some snowmobile prohibitions put in place. State park land is open to snowmobiles unless there's a land use order. We are proposing that this prohibition actually be removed. So we want to make sure that this portion of land remains open to snowmobiles. It was put in there in a little bit of a clerical error, and so this is simply a correction, not a change in practice. We are ensuring that this portion of Ionia State Recreation Area remains open to the use of snowmobiles, which is supported by local staff, the field trial users, and everybody that we've been in contact with.
How long has it been closed?
It has been closed administratively for 1 year. It has been open historically. We are just correcting a clerical error that happened the last time the order came before.
So they accidentally shut down snowmobiling in a place for a year? Is that what I'm saying?
That's what it sounds like.
Leelanau State Park. So this is about our piping plover restrictions that we have at the park. So there is currently a land use order in place that identifies much of the property that we administer along the Cathead Bay shoreline to be closed when there's nesting birds present, and to have prohibitions in place for the possession of dogs during certain times of the year when these endangered birds may nest. This is just one of several areas within our state park system where we have these types of protections in place. However, when looking at the properties of Leelanau State Park, it was noted that not all of the area of Cathead Bay was under the same protections. And so this proposal would add the remaining portions of Cathead Bay so that there is uniformity for the protection of this, federally endangered species. And then this change was supported by both state and federal partners and local constituent groups. So as you can see here on the map, Leelanau State Park has several portions of property along the bay. And we kind of felt that not only was it important for the protections of this endangered species, it was also important to be able to explain this to our public and our guests, that if just the entire section of that land was under the same protections, as opposed to trying to pull out a map and explain to them, where it is and where it isn't protected.
How much effort is
We also had a section.
Nesting birds? Seems like a lot.
A lot.
Like, what? Like, okay. What funds this stuff again? Oh, primarily deer stuff.
Primarily. I don't.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like the people who are going to the park should pay for the nesting birds.
Exactly. Like if it's in a park, the park pass should
Fund things in the park.
Within a park or a recreation area. Others may be across the entire unit or the entire park. This is another one similar to the Ionia Rec area, where it's not going to be a change in practice. It was discovered by local staff that this one had been written kind of backwards over the last many years. And so it was meant to prohibit use of alcohol at the Silver Lake and Half Moon units, except for in shelters that were rented. The way it currently reads, it's prohibited at the rented shelters and open everywhere else. And that's not the way the staff have been enforcing it, the way that the guests have been understanding it. And so this isn't a change in practice. It's just clearing up the language to meet what the intent of the original order was.
Skeeter.
Silver Lake Sand Dunes?
Yeah, when's the last time been there?
I've actually been there quite a bit.
Now moving
figured
into
you
our
would.
wildlife
That's what one of the last
conservation
time you
order
went was.
amendments that were
I haven't gone actually on the dunes in a long time,
Okay.
but that like Silver Lake State Park. I go
Oh,
out
I've been
quite
there.
often.
I saw guys. I was there working close to the dunes, like where you drive around the RV trails.
Yep.
I watched some dudes walk all the way across that and hunt on the other side of it.
We're not going to talk about that.
So
out loud.
much sand.
Let's not talk about that.
Oh,
out loud.
okay. All right, my bad. I just assumed it was does.
There is does in there.
Yeah. It was insane. They had like a little buggy that they like were carrying out there, and they looked miserable.
Yeah,
it
no,
was
it-
like
that-
late season.
That
and
is, you got to really want
it.
something.
Yeah. But yeah, I used to go there quite a bit in my early 20s. Had a Jeep, a little Toa Jeep up there, and Jeep Cherokee, and jumped Test Hill and beat it up. Broke a windshield there once with it, and yeah, I outgrew that.
It's a good place to
relatively
ruin
quick.
your stuff if you
Yeah.
like to.
Need a beater.
I've never been there. I'm always too poor to have toys.
Those are closed. We're cleaning that up while opening 207 acres to hunting. So as you can see here on the map, we have the existing lands that are open to hunting with the red square around it, and then we're adding those, which would be on the west side towards.
Public service announcement, though, the Cadillac area, if you want to get accosted by a meth head, that is probably a great place. A great place to go hunt. They just beat up some dude on the river walk there not that long ago for no apparent reason.
Hunting and trapping. The exceptions are those developed areas where we might have some safety concerns. And so this proposed amendment will open an additional 92 acres of land at the recreation area that were previously closed to hunting because the Cassidy prison was there under a lease agreement with the Michigan Department of Corrections. That facility has been removed. The land back to a natural state, and therefore there is no longer a reason to have that area closed to hunting, and so we are proposing to open it. This was supported through recent general management plan process, including rigorous public comment. And then also while it's open, we are going to clean up the language that surrounds the portage unit for the hunting restrictions there. It's not really a net
Oh,
gain
okay.
of
It's like, what's
acres,
plexus? I'm
but if you
intrigued.
read that order that's currently in place, it mentions landmarks that simply don't exist anymore. It'll say all lands west or east of the old park entrance road, and things that even staff on site cannot recognize. And so how can we expect our public to do that as well? So we are updating the language in there to simply make it so that people can clearly understand where that is. And so if you look on here, the red outline is the lands that are closed around the portage unit, which is a highly developed portion of the recreation area. And so we just have adjusted those lines to meet current landmarks so that both our guests and our public can understand better where those boundaries are. And then lastly, we just have a map of that Cassidy Lake unit. This has been historically closed to hunting due to the prison property, and we would like to make sure that that gets reopened now that the development is no longer there.
Prison property you can hunt?
So with that, those are our order amendments.
Apparently that one.
Open.
Shoot some prison bucks. Interesting.
I'm not opposed.
Interesting.
Question? Commissioners? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Sweet.
Thank you, guys. So we're going to adjust some things on the agenda so all of you that are here to speak quicker than waiting through all the rest of our presentation. So we're going to move the scientific management resolution update after public comment. We're going to move fisheries division regulatory recommendations after public comment. And we're going to move Prairie River stream temperature redesignation after public comment. So we'll resume director's report then.
Ooh,
Actually, we'll
sooner.
probably move into approving or disapproving, taking action of one sort or another on the action items this month and then come back to it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks to staff for adjusting our schedules. While Brooke is walking up here, she is going to update us or remind us of the guidelines for public appearances. It is 10:19.
100,000 hunters did not vote last year in the last election. We have to have hunters vote. Governor is very clear, and I don't care which side you're on. I just want the one that knows something about hunting.
You said 400,000 did not vote?
400,000
Wow, 400,000 hunters didn't vote last year.
last election.
Or last election, yep.
And I've met with John James 2 or 3 times. He's what we need, you know. He's willing to listen to us about appointments here and stuff. And I don't think we should say vote for John James or vote for this one or that one. Just vote.
Yeah.
Because they're not voting. And we're going to try to get every venue, every podcast, everything we can to get out and vote. All they're talking about in here is no money.
Yeah.
And why is that? It's because
it didn't come through.
Yeah. And I know all those guys. I'm friends with all those guys that are anti-DNR right now.
Well, make sure you send us an email.
Oh, fuck, I don't email.
You don't email? Well, then get Skeeter's phone number or something.
Well, I got
you have his number?
Dorman's again.
So,
yeah, get his.
But that's to be something you talk about.
Yeah.
More than once.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not trying to tell you.
No, I mean,
but
if we're frustrated with.
810.
Commissioners, we're speaking today as several waterfowl hunting stakeholder groups are on behalf of the Michigan Managed Waterfowl Hunting Areas, known as wetland wonders. It's a well-known fact that Michigan has lost 90% of its wetlands to development agriculture over the last 150 years, comprising the most important remaining waterfowl habitat in our state. The MWHA support vital needs of puddle ducks throughout the spring and fall migrations. Based on weekly MWHA reference counts, these highly productive wetlands provide over 6 million waterfowl use days during each migration period as ducks remain in the area for several weeks. Good. Without the MWHA habitat, most ducks would migrate through Michigan in a matter of a few days, turning Michigan into a flyover state. Duck hunting throughout the state would be adversely affected. Our estimates are that without the MWHA refuge system, you would have.
Put my back on. Sorry, I almost said Mr. Mike Thorman's phone number over the. Thank you.
Yes, I think so.
Thank you. I was repeating it.
Original purpose speaking today was the NRC and resolving terrible public policy. And
I turned the audio onto this and muted my mic, which was picking it up. So
hopefully, if anybody did catch that and ends up calling Mr. Thorman,
resulting 70% loss of hunting participation could be on a death spiral for the managed fund support. However, it appears as though stakeholder initiative to privately fund this through Mr. Kyle Green and fund the 4 seasonal workers necessary, which has now been moved to 8. I'm aware of that. Has full support of the MDNR and the legislative process. The $80,000 cost has been pledged by several conservation organizations who raise funds annually for wetland habitat improvements.
Now these funds are being diverted in the interest of saving the managed waterfowl hunting program. It took us 3 hours from Kyle's call out to have $80,000 committed from the stakeholder groups. 3 hours. As always, the phrase hunters pay for conservation applies in this case. And I'm going to ad lib quickly. All of your charts show we're bearing the bill for 75%. We always do. We thank Kyle Green for his leadership in bringing these parties together. Don't know how he did it. I tried for 6 weeks and failed. Kyle, thank you. The MWHAs were established by dedicated conservationists in the 60s and 70s. Our expectation is that the MDNR and the legislature will use this breakthrough today to serve as motivation to rededicate Michigan's commitment to the managed wetland habitat and secure the funding needed for hunting through hunting license increases. We know that the cost of hunting licenses have not increased since 2014, while the cost of maintaining funds and wildlife habitat continues to track with inflation. For the record, we have supported and continue to support the license increase package. I want that very, very clear. In addition to waterfowl, our MWHAs provide key habitat for a number of threatened and endangered species. Without the needed funding, Michigan's incredible public waterfowl hunting opportunities are still living on borrowed time. Each of us owes future generations the opportunity to enjoy the same waterfowl hunting heritage which the MWAs have afforded generations of Michigan hunters for 65 years, with 2 per day, 7 days per week draws consistent except for the COVID year, which went down for 1 per day for 6 days. We urge the DNR to work with hunters as they face challenges and make tough decisions in the future. Hunters have invested heavily to build, maintain, and staff these wetland wonders, and we desperately need to build on past success to maintain vital wetlands for ducks, the hunters, and all Michigan citizens. I wrote a postscript after our prepared statement because I realize a lot of people don't know much about the managed hunting areas. To those who view managed wetland hunters as simply another budget line item for Michigan's extensive array of public lands, which we're all very proud of, okay? It's 25 to 30,000 acres between those, but please find the
It's
time.
interesting that they even want
any
more
of the
money.
public.
Like, it's not just deer, it's all licensed sales. Like, it's, you know, got support from waterfowl guys wanting money for that. Sounds like they foot the bill for 70% of the stuff for this stuff, and they're trying to increase it while still contributing a large portion of it. At least that's, I'm not very familiar with it, but sounds like it. Seems like a pretty big issue across the board. I'd like more money too, personally, but
it's,
you know.
it's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really minds paying more money for their enjoyment, and the cost per entry, as long as it's achievable. Like, I don't think anybody as sportsman really cares that much.
We're talking $5,
Right,
like if
but
it's
if
$5 would be
it's-
huge.
If it's an additional $5 and we just don't understand where that $5 is going, I
Yeah.
think that's where people get a little upset.
I don't think people like to give the government money ever.
No.
So anytime that they ask for money, especially in a community that's full of Dutch people.
Yeah, if the money equals better product,
It's one thing, but if you spend more money and have a worse product, that's a huge issue.
Yeah.
It's for bird watching groups.
Bird
No other
watching
Michigan
groups, when do you
public
come
areas
back
have a
and
greater
bird
net
watch?
benefit to wildlife than the wetland wonders. They must be understood and viewed in that light and protected in the interest of sustaining waterfowl and many other birds, reptiles, and local wildlife for future generations to cherish. End of prepared statements. As to what we saw here today and have seen, it was a message of managed decline. We don't accept managed decline. The waterfowl use days are critical to the habitat.
Yeah.
It's got to be a 10.
He might have got all three of
Managed
those
areas
guys,
are
though.
why 6 million birds stay here at least a day. Waterfowl use days instead of 2 million. You can't put a number on that. Those same managed waterfowl areas with your cost generated $10 million of local economic benefits. Hunters travel heavy, guys. We buy lots of shells, waders, hunting gears, boat licenses, repair tires, eat at restaurants, gas stations, etc. The Chamber of Commerce should be in here on the cost benefit ratio, because $10 million of economic benefits are at risk in these 4 managed waterfowl areas. That needs to be a fact. The spring migrations, we have an obligation to these waterfowl. Public
I just thought he brought the other two guys because he heard the beefcake operation works.
That away, these birds
That's the
blow
way it
through
rolls.
this.
You
Wild
gotta,
refuge is,
gotta have
you
a
know,
couple big guys at
you
your
got
side.
must be
Shiawassee
tuning
National
in.
Refuge and Seney
Must be
up north.
tuned in.
That's it. Okay, you take these away, and Michigan is a flyover state. The cost benefit is overwhelming in favor of these. As to hunters pay for conservation, took us 3 hours to get to your $80,000. Tell us what the best funding mechanism is. We'll get behind it. We'll sell it today. And July 30th was one hell of a cattle prod that hit every managed waterfowl organization right in the heart. Okay, we'll be there for you. We'll get it funded. We'll work through Kyle Green. Trust me, we are going to become legislative liaisons for you to get that done. Thank you.
Interesting. So are you telling me
We'll
that
get
they're
your
thinking
copy.
about getting rid of the wildlife management areas? Is that kind of what he was like pushing back on a little bit? Like talked about not having those anymore? Or is it just not enough funding to keep them? I wonder.
I don't know.
I got, yeah.
Commissioners, I did get a copy
I
of the
need to,
letter they sent
talk
to
to
the
that guy.
legislature on the license
Interesting to see.
package.
For the record, I met Becky Humphreys on the dikes in 1981, where I was the group to the game area, running a veterinary construction project down in Flushing. Been a long time.
Yeah, we're both spring chickens.
Yeah.
I'm
Good
trying to
morning,
wait for mine.
Commissioners. How are you? My name is Drew Dieters. I'm representing the Holland Fish and Game Club, a Holland organization of 625 members, outdoorsmen all. Not all duck hunters, but all hunters and fishermen. It seems as though saving the managed waterfowl hunting areas has a one-year reprieve due to great efforts from Kyle Green of the Greenway Outdoors and Brian Cease of the Shiawassee Citizens and Hunters Association. In my lifetime, I have hunted waterfowl from Michigan to Manitoba to Arkansas to South Dakota to Nebraska to Iowa. All wonderful hunts, but none as great as the first week of the Michigan waterfowl season that I spent at Shiawassee River for many, many years. I have also hunted at Neonquin Point and Fish Point. These managed areas are the dream waterfowling opportunities here in Michigan. No finer spot for a combination duck and goose hunt in the state. Huge tracts of public land on these managed areas for duck hunters and goose hunters to enjoy. With civilization spread, we are losing hunting spots routinely. I live in Zeeland and Holland, and our Ottawa County growth is tremendous for the tax rolls and very detrimental for us hunters to find places to hunt. As civilization grows, these spots are even more important to migrating waterfowl and bird hunting waterfowlers. This political battle in bringing hunts down from 14 per week to 5 is unconscionable. Losing the premier waterfowling hunting areas in Michigan should never even be considered in the political chess that was played. These areas were developed by great conservationists looking for continued wetlands and looking out for continued wetlands and marsh loss, hunters migrating fowl and waterfowl reproduction.
I feel like
the bird watchers of the world have greatly benefited from them as well.
Like what?
I just thought there was so much money to be made with those and federal stuff that they would want those open always because the duck is federal. So
for sure.
I wonder if other states are also struggling with that.
Imagine that every birder in the state has loved that. It is a beautiful place, and it's worth taking the time to do for those of you who haven't been there. The other group that's financially benefited from the managed areas are the merchants around each of these 4 areas. Motel, gas station, restaurants, sporting goods store owners have benefited millions of dollars as well. Please help us find a way that this destructive situation will never happen again. Help convince the legislators that a raise in license fees after 11 years is a good thing. All of our members will do what we can to our legislators in the area to make sure that they wake up on this situation as well. Everything around us has inflated the last few years, as have DNR expenses and salaries. License increase is a must, and we look forward to your help
in getting that done.
Skeeter.
Thank you.
Thank
You know how to do it pretty good, Brian. You must have a little kid at home.
Yeah, we're Dutchmen from Holland, but that's okay.
Philip,
The Dutchman came out.
Ooh, Henry got a donut.
you're up.
Nice.
Philip Whitten.
You gonna speak? What do we have? Well, let's see here. We have there's a couple more wildlife things, and then comment right now. Yep. When are you on the list? Towards the end.
My name is Phil Whitten. I'm representing the Macatawa Bay Association, which is one of the chapters of Michigan Duck Hunters Association. Our individual chapter has over 300 members.
Right here.
I began my career as a waterfowl hunter over 45 years ago, as I was introduced to waterfowl hunting by an older mentor at a managed waterfowl area in Michigan. Michigan has a strong culture of waterfowl hunting throughout the state, and especially in the southeastern areas of Michigan where most of the wetland wonders are located. The numbers of hunters have declined in recent years, but there remains a strong core of us waterfowl hunters in our great state.
All right, we're going to have our first special guest today join us. You're going to do a public comment here in probably an hour, without how many there are, who knows. But why don't you introduce yourself here?
So Dave Bukema, owner of Razor Broadheads, but just mainly conservationist here in Michigan.
Yeah.
This great group of coalition guys that we have.
So Razor Broadheads, Josh Mapes, I met him this week for some food plot seed.
Oh,
he pulled a Razor Broadhead out of a tree that had been there for like 2 or 3 years. I think he made a mission this weekend to grab that, and it looked good still.
It did.
Being in that tree for a while. So yeah, I know he likes your broadheads, and a lot of guys. There's a great cut on contact, durable head. Get some heavier weights, and yeah, they're good. Sharp broadhead, kill stuff with them. So
Josh is a great dude. I've learned a ton from him on the coyote hunting side of things too. He's an awesome coyote hunter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw that post he made on Instagram. I told him that if he can use that same broadhead to shoot a deer here this year, that'd make for a great story.
Well, he shoots a lot of deer, so hopefully he can get one done with that.
He's an equal opportunity offender.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he goes to the Patreon camp with us with Adam at Bowhunter Chronicles, and yeah, I know Skeeter knows him pretty good too from all the coyote hunting stuff, and the thing he does with Russ, the benefit kind of dinner they do coyote thing, it's pretty cool. So, but yeah, why don't you kind of catch up to speed of what you feel about today? And I know you've been at quite a few of these meetings talking since I've been coming here. I've seen you quite a bit.
Yeah.
So why don't you kind of give us an overview of what you feel like today is and.
Yeah. So today, I mean, as a one buck guy, I mean, I think everybody in our camp obviously was hoping that was going to be statewide. Obviously, the reality of it is now that it's not. I think the most frustrating part for me and a lot of people in our camp is the fact that a lot of the decisions that were made prior to today, I don't believe were solely based on what was best for the resource. Let's take the UP specifically.
Yeah.
It's popular. Hunter's Choice is popular. I don't know what if at all that has to do with the resource. So to me, that's the most frustrating part. So, but we are where we are.
Mm-hmm.
So I think leaving today, I think if we can have a good outcome as possible is all we can best hope for. And to me, what that would mean is let's keep that second buck tag to remain in those 5 counties.
Yes.
Because at the end of this quasi-pilot, whatever we're calling it, I want the merits of the 1 buck counties to not be tainted by people from the other 5 county region coming in and shooting their second tag. 3-5 years down the road, whatever it is, let's not taint those cohorts and look at those 2 areas and see which one performed better. In my opinion, obviously, I think the 1 buck one will, but if we don't keep that second tag within those 5 counties, it's not going to be a true comparison.
Yeah. What do you mean by perform better?
So if you're looking at deer densities, age structure within the class, buck to doe ratio, all the things that we were advocating for, I think those would probably be the 3 metrics that I would look at.
Yeah. So when you talked about what happened with the UP and like this NRC board and how this proposal G is supposed to happen, I like the system, but sometimes things kind of don't get handled right. And I think the UP unfortunately was at the mercy of that, and that's one of those things where something happened and it kind of forced the hand to at least do something for the state, but then the UP got left alone. Like, hey, we'll do it, but sorry, the UP's were succumbing to what it almost felt like there was a group of people who wanted just to keep it the way it is, and that trumped everything else, and there wasn't like that reasoning behind it. Like, I guess for me, like I feel like the UP is the perfect place to try $1. Like if you're gonna try $1 somewhere, the UP should be the first place you try it
100%.
because they have the population of deer is a little bit more. I want to say I don't know if the word fragile is the right word, but the UP is diverse, and there's areas in there where like the more bucks get killed than does in an area that has very low deer density. I get that, but also we're trying to increase the herd health, and with wintering complexes and like all that stuff going on, I feel like that would have been a great area to try $1, for that.
And I think that's my biggest frustration. And I don't even hunt in the UP.
Yeah.
But just the premise and the lens that they were looking through to justify some of those decisions, to me as a conservationist, to your point, just made zero sense. Because if there was one spot that we should do something different, it's the UP.
Yeah.
And again, in the May meeting, you guys were there, right? You
Yeah.
had all the proponents on one side of the aisle, just like a wedding, and
Yep.
everybody else on the other side.
Yep.
And the only thing they had was don't take our pacifier away,
Yeah.
essentially, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
popular. We like it. Had
Yep.
nothing to do with the resource. And again, our camp was all age structure, buck to doe ratio, carrying capacity of the landscape.
Yeah.
This whole narrative that we're about big bucks was never brought up one time.
No, it's just healthier deer herd.
Correct.
And like the $1 thing makes sense because you got areas of the UP that have like we know people that hunt in the UP that have a lot of deer. Like they see a lot of deer. Like they can't even grow food plots because there's so many deer that eat their plots down. Well, if you have $1, then they shoot their you're hoping that they shoot more does to assist with that. Because like I mean, I got people that like they're like, yeah, we see more deer in the UP than we do, other areas, but they're in like that mecca where the doe population does need to be controlled better to increase the overall health of the whole population. And
Right.
it's a really hard concept to grasp if it doesn't make sense to you, you just blow it off. Like you don't want to learn, but like the doe harvest is super important. And a byproduct of a healthy deer herd is to have more older deer run around and they have bigger racks, which a population of hunters in Michigan really like that. And that's what they get. My dad gets a kick out of seeing deer one year to the next.
Right.
Like he never thought that was possible, when he was younger growing up. And now it's like, oh, we got this deer we've seen this year. Oh, look at him this year. Like that's really cool. And it's like that's okay to be that way. It doesn't make you just a trophy buck hunter.
Yeah, so in business, right, there's that saying that the customer is always right, and you take care of the customer and everything else falls into place, right?
Yep.
The same thing goes for conservation and wildlife. If you take care of the resource first, everything else falls into place. You take politics out of it, you take opinions out of it. It just simplifies things so much.
Yeah.
In terms of numbers, like this has zero impact, so I'm not my pennies over a bunch in it. But with Eister's amendment in the UP for senior citizens to allow crossbow, right? There's no justification if you want to look at Proposal G for that.
No.
Now, again, there's no blip on the radar that's going to happen up there. But if they're going to throw Proposal G out the window for small things, what would stop them
Correct.
from doing it on bigger things?
And then not even realizing it went into effect at the next meeting. That was just like, whoa. Like
Then there's that.
one email, he made that.
So thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're basing regulations off of one person who sent an email that, for all we know, might not even be alive anymore. Because he tried following up on me, didn't even
hear
respond.
nothing. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And we're pushing deer regs on that. And
Yeah.
yet we have people that come to every meeting that make sound scientific arguments
Yeah, that have spent time out of their day-to-day stuff to research.
that make sense for the
Yep.
resource that we can't get regs passed for. So
Yeah.
yes, did we move the ball down the field? Yes. But we still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. So what do you feel about, a lot of the pushback with the pilot program and, how do we confirm or keep people honest with it? They're really worried about that, which I think every time you change something, that's instantly where people are going to go like, well, they can just poach this way or they can legally do it to get their ghost does or, shooting this, shooting that. And what's kind of your stance on that? Because I think a lot of us were like, dude, if you could do a check station, that would be the number one. That would work great. But just the funding's not there, manpower, it just doesn't seem achievable. So we're kind of left with using the app.
So we go down a lot of rabbit trails with that question right there. How did we get to this point? The fact that they passed an amendment without even knowing what the logistics of this amendment are, right? Can we start there?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Right?
It's right, though. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Isn't that how we got Obamacare?
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're even at this point, that we passed an amendment that we don't even know what it is and how it's going to look like, let's start there. But we're here.
Yeah.
There's going to be some compromises that get made. Like, I think we all know that Fewens is a mandatory check-in guy.
Yep.
I don't think that's going to be part of this.
No.
So he's going to be making a compromise there.
Yeah.
There are people that wanted this all for Zone 3 for tags to be used. There are people up there that wanted their second tag to be used in entire statewide. Someone's going to be making a compromise there.
Yeah.
So shining up this turd, I think, is probably the best way to look at
Yeah,
this.
that's exactly. Yeah, you made a post about that,
I
and I
did.
was like, yeah, that's pretty much what we're left with. And yeah, I mean, maybe it can turn into a cool fossil one day, but like right now, it doesn't seem so good.
Let's make the best out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
At the end of this, I've heard this is going to run until 2031. I don't know if that's true, but that's
Yeah.
what I heard.
Yeah,
Dude,
5 years. I think you're right. Yeah.
I'll be the first one to stand up and say that this earn a second buck comparator area outperformed the $1 areas.
Yeah.
Because again, I want what's best.
You
for
want
the
what's best
resource.
for the deer. It
And
doesn't
if that's
matter.
what happens, then let's do that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that there was justification in some of the modeling areas in other states to even get to this point. But
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. So we got Nick is asking a question on here. He said, so will the DNR actually set these metrics that we're aiming to achieve so we can have measurable results? I know that's what the commission wanted to see, but is the DNR going to do that? So is there, you think have you heard, or are they going to try to say our goal is to have this after year 3 or year 5? Do you know if there's anything like even on the radar with that kind of stuff?
I have not heard, but my guess is that they're going to pong it back to the DNR.
Okay.
However, the DNR didn't even want their in a buck trial.
Oh, I know.
So like, they want input from the DNR in some things, but not others.
Yeah.
Because again, if it was up to the DNR, we'd have $1 statewide because that's what they proposed.
Yes.
So will they ultimately do that to try to pass the buck, no pun intended? Yeah, I think that is what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have to have some definable metrics to compare this after a few years to know which areas perform better.
No, like I'm just thinking back to like because the doe harvest thing has been an issue in Zone 3 for a long time, and I remember when CWD came around, like Kent County, Ionia County, some of these they did like the APR they added, and they had like a measurable metric that showed an increase in does harvested per buck or in the area. So like I feel like and that was through surveys probably, but now with the app I feel like we should at least get real-time data substantially quicker than in years past. So I would think by like going into year 2, year 1 and year 2, we should be able to see some of this data relatively quick, and I would the NRC is going to just put that on the DNR to do.
Yeah, and if I recall what you're talking about, they did the trial areas where there's a 5 county, 3 of them were APR, 2 of them weren't.
Correct.
Because like I'm in Mecosta County, which
Yep.
was one of the APR areas, and we shot more does than bucks. Like the
Yes.
ratios were awesome.
Yep.
And our quality started
The first
increasing
time
as
in
well.
like years too, like some of those counties had that.
Correct. That was not near the favorable commission back in
Okay.
those years as it is now.
Okay.
So it didn't continue, unfortunately.
So that's what happened with that. It kind of was like, hey, we said we'd do it, but we're done, and they yanked it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That was not a good commission during those years.
Okay. Yeah, because that was kind of that was one of the things that like for me to support a $1 or $1 with the APR, however you want to look at that, was that I saw that happen firsthand in the areas that I was hunting and talking to locals and people. They're doing things they never did before, and then they like year 2, they're like, holy cow, we got like look at these bucks we got on trail camera now. So like it was kind of like that shock that some hunters needed to like themselves for shooting the first 8 point and then the first buck after. Like a lot of people say like, oh, you hold out for a deer. Well, in like a high deer density area, they might say that, but they might only hold out for 2 or 3 sits and then they're plugging the first good opportunity. So that was one of the reasons I was like, hey, I think this is going to work. And then obviously going to other states and managing some other properties in other areas of the state. Like we've had good neighbors, like Brian has, an area that we've hunted. A lot of people are on the same page, and like it just is better hunting now than it used to be because of that.
Yeah, and you mentioned bigger antlers, and yeah, we were seeing bigger antlers, and it's all about perspective and the lens that you view that bigger antler deer as, because some people sitting up at the table behind us right now view that as a disease-riddled animal.
Yeah.
They're so old on the landscape, they're spreading disease, right?
Yes.
When I see a big buck in the landscape, that tells me that's a sign of a healthy herd.
Yep. Yep.
Because you ain't gonna have big bucks without a healthy herd.
No, you geek out on it. It's like, man, it's cool. Like they're thriving. Like and that means that when he's older and my grandkids, they should still have a thriving population to enjoy something that I've enjoyed.
That's right.
You know, my whole life. So it just kind of all spirals through that and like trickles down. So it's hard to get. Man, some people don't want to hear that though. They don't, and it's just like you try your best to be cordial and speak in a certain way, but man, people get passionate and they just think that we're trying to be TV hunters. The only times I've been told I'm a TV hunter, it's like, dude, I'm nowhere near. Like, do you see where those guys hunt? Do you see what they use? Like, I ain't no TV hunter. Like,
Yeah.
I'm struggling to get 2 acres of food plots in with the amount of time I have.
Right.
You know, like, yeah, we're a little different. So,
And again, that whole narrative of us being antler chasers.
Yeah.
When in fact we shoot more does than our cohorts, right?
that guy right there,
Yeah.
he's shot piles of them.
Compared to the bucks he shot in Michigan, what would you say your ratio is? 25 to 1 or more?
Way different.
Yeah, because I mean you're a serious hunter and you're trying to find big bucks, and Skeeter's just going out there filling crop damage tags, shooting does through the year, helping property owners out. Like we got willing dudes that are trying. We just need to up the participants there to alleviate some of that.
Sorry to interrupt you. I had a guy on Instagram on that post yesterday that you commented on that was calling me like a horn chaser or something like that. And I'm like, hold on. I'm trying to take the second buck tag away.
Yeah.
And I'm an antler chaser. Like
know.
that seems a little contradictory, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I put my first buck tag on a doe like before I even shot a buck.
That's
last
right,
year.
you did. Yeah, you used
Yeah.
your.
And
You
I
used
used
your
my second
tag.
one on a doe too.
Yeah, you used both your buck tags on does.
That's how
last year.
cool I am.
Dude, I'm inspired, Brian. I'm inspired.
Yeah, right. You're gonna try to shoot. You were gonna go down
I'm
south
going
to
to.
shoot 2 bucks anyway.
I don't live too far away from
the county.
But it seems strange that the guys that are saying that we are trying to be trophy hunters want 2 bucks when there's all the does on the landscape
Yep.
that you could ever shoot.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just a cooler trophy we're looking at. Their trophy sucks.
right.
Yeah.
Which is the 80% of hunters that don't shoot does every year. I mean, those are the stats.
Yeah.
So yeah, those people making that argument, I mean, they're the ones that aren't shooting the does.
Yep.
One thing that I was still confused about last meeting when they talked about the check-in styles, and they were talking about the budget. Did they budget for an adjustment to the app that would allow like photos to be taken? I was unclear about that because they said it would cost them the 35,000 extra dollars the way that they were proposing it to be done, but they also had it was going to cost them $125,000 or something for the app to be adjusted. Did anybody get a clear read on if they put that in the budget or not?
That I don't know. And I missed the last 2 months meetings because vacations and work. So,
I feel like when we were sitting over here listening about that, we were under the impression it was going to be like really expensive, and then they came out with that like sub $200,000 to do it, and we're like, that's a no brainer. Like, and yeah, I know Sarah, I believe, is that her name, Skeeter, that does the budget for that DNR. She was kind of breaking down, so maybe we'll get an update on that today. But yeah, they were definitely in the works with that app, kind of turning into that, and I'm not familiar with how they get the funding, but I feel like there's way worse things you can spend $200,000 on than something that is important as a pilot program for 5 years.
Yeah.
I feel like the picture thing will be a little bit more accurate than random calls from a CO, and it sucks for the COs to have to do that anyways. They got enough on their plates.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was up at the property this weekend. I've got 2 COs in my area, and I happened to run by one of them, so I pulled over, and we know each other, so we were talking, and this came up, of course, because I was like, yeah, I'll be at the meeting here next week, and I was like, man, I hope they don't have you guys going around and following up on these does to make sure that, in fact, they're legitimate. I was like, that's not why you became a conservation officer, so.
Yeah, can you imagine the strain they're on already, and then now they got to go do that and try to figure out if these dudes are legit? Like, how many times, all right, thanks, I'll email you. Like, how could you expect them to even if there's 1,000 does they got to do, like the amount of time that would take to do, or even 500, like they're so spread thin, there's no way.
Yeah, so if it's if it's controlled to just the 5 counties which we're advocating for, obviously that would minimize that burden.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel bad even for the 5 in that. I don't know that they're going to make them require them to do that, but yeah, the AI stuff versus the mandatory check-ins, like again, we're just shining that turd, trying to make it look as good as
Kansas,
possible.
you got to take a picture of the deer you shot, and I was like, this is kind of weird. But then I did it, and it was like I had like no service, and it still went through. So I don't know if it just went to a cache, and then once I got service, it sent in. But that was easy. Took a picture of it. There's a couple other things you had to do, and I was like, that was very seamless. And now they got a data point to confirm their data. So it's like that's pretty easy to like implement. Like, why would you not want that?
Correct, and that's on a buck, which I'm guessing is probably why you went to Kansas, same as me, and I've done the same thing. That's easy to validate to find out which deer it was.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, on a doe, like,
true, a little tougher to know.
Yeah, how do you
unless
know
you,
actually...
yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, do you have to put the tag on there, unless it timestamps it? Maybe the picture has a timestamp, so you can't just like fake the. Yeah, you're right, because you don't have the characteristics as a buck does.
Right.
Yeah, if you're not able to upload into the app, that would be a one way to make it more accurate. Like you couldn't take a picture of a doe you shot previously
and then drag it 50 feet and have your buddy do it too.
Yeah.
Like that would be part. I guess you're right. Like if there's not a way to prove it, then if people want to cheat the system, no matter what we do, they're.
I was just going to say that. Yeah. You're always going to have the ones that do that. So I guess just like, how do we get the most this is going to go through. This is going to happen.
Yeah.
How do we get the most accurate data possible to have a data point to go from that reference point moving forward?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's and it's like we can't make policy on the bad apples either. Like, there's those Creek King guys in Ohio that got busted. Like they don't even think any of the deer they have shot over the last 5 years were legal. It's like, dude, they were like, so was Ohio gonna all of a sudden change all their policies because of them? No, they busted them, and hopefully guys do the right thing. But if you want to poach and you want to do things wrong, they're gonna find ways to do it.
They will.
Honestly, in my opinion, I think even if people fake the numbers, they'll actually probably be more accurate than the numbers that they're getting now. Because when I talk to people, and I talked about guys who shoot does and a lot of does, I don't know what percentage of guys buy one doe tag and shoot multiple does with that one doe tag, but in an agricultural area, and maybe it's just like my specific area, it's a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And the number of does that are reported that are shot in the county I live are far fewer than what are actually shot.
I would agree. I live close to some farms. I hunt farm land 100 miles apart, and very similar mindsets. Some of them old school farmers that have owned this property for a long time, making their livelihood, apple farmers and cherries and that stuff. And yeah, sometimes they somehow miraculously get the reusable doe tag, and they take advantage of it. And I have my opinion on how I feel like those people should be able to, manage their property a certain way. But yeah, there are more deer getting shot than are reported. But percentage wise is the hard part. Like, is it a 5% increase? Is it a 10% increase? Is it 3%? Is it 1%? Which would move the needle. Like, 1% would definitely move the needle in the positive direction. So yeah, I'm always worried about going too far. Like, you do this thing and it's like, are we going to decimate the deer? Because if 600,000 people go and shoot a doe, like, we're going to be in serious trouble.
Yeah.
So like, that's why I like the cycles. Like, hey, the one thing I do like about the NRC and Proposal G and all this is like, if stuff is going bad, we can change it rather quickly and go back or something, right? Like in the grand scheme of things.
In theory, yes, but it seems like every time we try to have change, it's like turning the Titanic around.
Okay.
I mean, just let's take next year, for example. There's going to be at least 3 new commissioners.
Yeah.
So all these relationships that we built over the years, right, we're going to have to start from scratch on those 3, and there could be 4. Right.
Yeah.
So now developing those, and I don't know, to me, it just seems like a long, drawn-out process. I've been through 4 different reg cycles, and this is really the first time we've had anything substantively change.
Okay.
Like,
so what if this whole earn a buck thing is a dumpster fire and Do they have to let it run the whole 5 years, you think, if it's voted on, or do you think they have the ability to amend it and change it?
I think they can. I think they
Okay,
can. Change.
that's
I
just
don't
like,
think
'cause
they
I feel
would,
like
but
I feel like if the government, like if it was in legislature or something, like a law was put in place, it'd
Yeah.
be way harder to
100%.
to move the change or tweak or those kind of things. So of all of the things that are negative about it, that's one thing I always think about. Is like, well, it's kind of convenient that we can maybe steer the ship a little bit. Are they going to turn it where it needs to? Maybe we'll deflect off the iceberg opposed to drive right into it. I don't know, but I do like that part of proposal G.
I think the delays are mostly created by the data collection system and how long it takes to get accurate data, or even if the data is accurate, that's such a time consuming thing. I mean, all of the data that we have is from dead deer.
Yeah.
We don't have any data on live deer.
Yeah.
It's just random estimates. No, I don't know, it's not random. I'm sure there's some very intelligent person that went to school for mathematics that figured it all out, but
well, and you mentioned like in a vacuum proposal G, right? Ideally,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be awesome.
Mhm.
But we both know that that's not always the case.
There's 7 humans up there.
Exactly right. Yeah. So, I mean, the way the structure is set up, that's the way we
Yeah.
would want it to go, right? But as we know, we just discussed a few of them are already here today. They don't always follow it.
Nope, they don't. Oh man, well, I'm excited.
That's why advocacy never
nervous.
ends, man.
I know,
it
like it's
never ends.
and I'm learning that the more I've been to these, right? Like we've all kind of started. I know Skeeter's been to more than I have, but it's just like, hey, this is something that
Patience
needs
is
more
the virtue, right, Skeeter?
needs more awareness, and we
Yep.
got to do our best to go through that. And yeah,
Yeah, because even if we'd gotten $1 past statewide, like we're not going to pack up our bags and go home and then we'll celebrate the victory. Now you got to maintain it.
yes,
Right? Encourage your co-ops to shoot the dose to justify
yes,
keeping it, right? It
exactly.
never ends.
It's not going to just magically fix everything.
It's not.
Not at all. Well, you want to give us a little bit of the rundown of some razor broadheads before you got to go do a public comment?
Sure,
Like,
real quick, and that's not the reason I came on here, but yeah, if anybody's interested in some cut-on contact, fixed blade broadheads, razorbroadheads.com is where you'll find us. We've got weights ranging all the way from down to 125 up to 300 grain. So
a lot of trad guys like shooting your broadheads, you feel like, because
So
of
we
that
don't-
option?
we don't always know when the orders come in exactly where they're going to, but
Okay.
some of the conversations when I do have them with customers, they'll say north of 200 grain heads are,
Yeah.
are going to the trad guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I know just a little bit. I know about that. Like the heavier point weight does assist with arrow flight and point on, and like depending on how guys like
Yeah.
to shoot. Because I know my dad's got. I think I got him some like 200 grain broadheads for that reason. He
Yep.
wanted a little heavier broadhead in the front of his arrow. So
Yeah, so it's funny. Just a couple days ago, had a guy reach out to me and was looking for. He wanted 150 grain head, but he's got a 50 grain insert. And I'm
Oh.
like, dude, just shoot a 200 grain head. It'd be way better.
And
the
the
same weight. And you're
blade
gonna get a much
stronger.
durable
Yeah.
blade. So he's like, yeah, I guess that's what I'll do.
yeah.
But yeah, he was a trad guy.
Yeah, that makes sense because like how many of those crazy outsert systems I've had over the years,
Right.
and I'm just pairing it with a 100 grain broadhead or 125. Yeah, you can just get all that meat in the broadhead, the
Yep.
killing part of it. So keep
A
it
more
strong,
wider
durable.
cut, more durable, thicker head and you're still maintaining that same weight, and you'll have more destruction.
So where are you located out of? Where are these broadheads coming from? Where's your hometown, or where are you from?
Right in West Michigan.
Nice.
And they're all manufactured right there too.
That's
And we've
awesome.
got different suppliers that our stuff is done at, but there ain't nothing from China in our shop. I
That's
can
cool.
tell you that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
If you want to get behind that and support them, check out Razor Broadheads.
I
But
appreciate it.
yeah, thank you for coming on. We'll definitely have to do another podcast. Come on, do an official one and talk about some things, and see how this all works out. And like you said, like we're not done advocating. Like just no matter what happens today, no matter what happens with the $1 thing, and we got a long ways to go before $1 may even happen. In 27. So
Well, and I
there's a
just
lot to
appreciate
do
you
yet.
guys coming to these meetings and putting the advocacy work out there, and calling attention to it and just having this available to the public. That's important too. So
Yeah,
thanks for your guys' attention to that.
appreciate it. Skeeter, got any questions for him? Anything?
I got lots of questions, but I'm not mic'd up, so.
You're not mic'd up.
Yeah.
Well, we can say you can.
They can hear you through mine.
Can you? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're coming through.
I'm gonna have to give me some broadheads. So,
We can talk after. Well, this would give us an excuse to do a follow-up one, I guess.
Yeah,
then.
we'll do
We
one.
can table that.
Yeah, I would love that. So, I don't know what we got here. This is Miller, right? Merle did his, Carlton. So, yeah, we're getting there. You're towards the end. You're second
Yeah.
to last. You got
Yeah.
a little bit yet. But I don't mind hearing what he's got to say because they're trying to do an APR group on Facebook, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, this guy, him and Jeffrey Antes.
Was a work
Milton
group. I know the
Buck County,
commission
yep.
is really great at having work groups every 4 years, but then not
You're good.
doing much that they say. So back in 2019, when that work group went through, they unanimously asked for 60%, that percentage being lowered. And so that's kind of going to be the next thing that I work on. And I would strongly consider the commission to consider lowering that to 60%. But we're still going to go through it regardless if you don't lower it. And just kind of our thing is, the last time we went through the APR process was back in 2019, which that's far too long. And then our mission is going to be pretty much every year go through the process regardless of what's going on. So any other questions? Nope. Thanks.
Thank you, Carlton. Bob Jones.
Cheers, Carlton.
Take them off. I'll just-
Hello, Commissioners. I'm going to talk about in a second, but before I do, I just want to make a comment that in 2019, the work group that was put together talking about APRs, that was not a unanimous decision with everybody wanting to lower the threshold to 60%. I know that for certain because NBH was opposed to it. So, but about earn a second buck, we didn't talk about earn a second buck at all this year during the regulation cycles, but it did come up and was discussed at length in the DMI 2 years ago. And at the time I supported it. I didn't look at it as a statewide regulation. I didn't even look at it necessarily as a regulation for all of Zone 3 or all of the Lower Peninsula, but I looked at it as a tool in the box and a really high density areas is something that could move antlerless harvest. And I think that if it's laid out correctly, the verbiage in it is correct, it could be an efficient tool in our densest areas where we have problems. I support the amendment to keep the buck in the control counties that they're shot in. But I think that there needs to be a little bit more to that. I still struggle with the what kind of abuse it's going to take with ghost does or guys reporting that they shot a doe. I would like to actually see something. I know myself as a hunter, if I had to jump through a few hoops to get a second buck tag, I wouldn't mind. I would like to see those does that get shot in that have to go to a field office, surrender the head, and send those heads in for testing. To me, it'd be a minor inconvenience to me to get that second buck tag if that was the case, and it would help in our testing efforts around the state to have those heads submitted. That's really all I had on that. I support the amendment. I still think should be some other things going forward tied in with that to make sure that it's administered properly. But I think it's a tool in the toolbox that could be used in our high density areas. So that's all I got on earn a second buck, but I would like to extend an invite. I know you guys all hear me talk about traditional archery. This is not a Michigan bow hunter event. This is an event that I put on at my home sportsman's club at Lapeer County Sportsman's Club, August 28th, 29th, and 30th. We have about 300 traditional archers there for the weekend. They camp. Last year we cooked a 175-pound pig and 75 pounds of top round beef for dinner Saturday night, and it was gone at the end of the evening. So it's a big event, a lot of novelties, and come out, take a look and see what the traditional archery world looks like. I think you'd be surprised.
Thank you, Bob. Elliot.
All right. Elliot's hopping on. Always got to appreciate what Elliot, fellow beefcake, likes to do. Oh, yeah.
Commissioner
Skeeters.
Shannon, I'm actually glad you're sitting up there. And I'm not going to yell at you, I promise. August 1st, there was the Waterfall Festival. I just want to commend your staff. Bob, Al, and Ryan did a fantastic job with it. It ran smooth. Watching the youth engaged in it, I think your staff deserves a lot of kudos for that. And then also,
Obviously, we're, as deer groups, are limited on what we can do, but if there's anything that the deer groups can do to help take some of the burden off with habitat projects on the state land, let us know. We'll do whatever we can to work with you and try to get things that you need for that. So, commissioners, it's been a long journey to this point this year. A lot longer than I was anticipating or expecting, but here we are at the end. You all have a very hard role. I mean, if you look at the economic impact of hunting, it's a $8.9 billion economic driver for the state. To put it in comparison, if you add all the row crops, corn, soybeans, dry beans, winter wheat, sugar beets, it doesn't even come to the 8.9 billion. It's only a $6 to $7 billion. And in the agricultural area that we are, that puts in a lot bigger perspective of how much is actually on the state with this. One thing that I heard with the $1 and even on the earn a second buck and even today leading up is opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. We've been managing for opportunity for a long time, and we're finally at this crossroad. If we look at opportunity, the department and the NRC has increased antlerless permits astronomically from the time that you were chair or director and even the chief. And yet we really haven't moved the needle as far as the densities are concerned. This department has bent over backwards for the ag community when it comes to the DMAPs and it comes to the deer damage permits. And yet only 5% of all farms even utilize the crop damage permits. And out of the 5%, only 40% of the tags are actually filled. So what has opportunity truly got us? So now we're at a crossroad where we really shouldn't be managing for opportunity as much as we just need to manage for the resource. And that's the crossroad that we're at today. Obviously, for the $1 side of things, that's what I looked at is this was a way, and I hate to use the word force, but force the hand of the antlerless harvest. When you have 20% of your hunters only taking one antlerless deer and 80% not, that's an issue. It's not an issue of opportunity. It's an issue of hunters choosing not to do what's right for the resource. Now, I understand that not every place can handle antlerless harvest to the extent of what I can do in southeast Tuscola County or, northeast Lapeer County. I understand that. But for a lot of us, we can take that. So we have the $1 versus the earn a second buck. Obviously, I was not a fan of the earn a second buck as presented. This is nothing against the department. They had a short amount of time to try to put something together, and they did a fantastic job in the limited time that they had. But I, too, was concerned with the data because data is everything. It's no different than on the budget side. Shannon, you have to explain in detail why you need the money you do. In the management side of things, we need to know the data of, is this working? Is it not working? Where do we start? Where do we get to? And under this amendment, I feel that this is a positive step to collect that right data. Would I have loved it to be per county? Sure. However, it is in the 5 treatment counties, and I can handle that because the data bleed has been minimized. Now, obviously, I wouldn't necessarily go as far as in person as much as I would love every deer to go to the in person. I understand the logistical side of it, plus the financial side of the brick and mortar. However, I would love to see a way to get like Kansas, where you have to take the picture of the entire antlerless deer and the tag itself. I know MSP has the AI technology. I would love to find out how much it would cost and see what I can do on the legislative side to get that money to you to implement that for next year. Obviously, on my side of things, I still would love to see $1, but I also understand the perk or the thought process behind the earn a second buck. We are a very centered society of hunters at the buck. Well, if you want your second buck, it forces you to shoot that doe. And unfortunately, that's where we are today. So as far as the amendment as it is written, as much as I still would like the $1, I can support the amendment as it is written. Because again, I would like to see what it does in 5 years. I just ask that it holds for 5 years so we can actually allow the department to collect the data to compare $1 versus the earn a second buck. And as I said before, if the earn a second buck proves to be the right way, I'll eat crow and admit I was wrong. and I will live with what the data says. Thank you.
Thank you, Elliot. Rochelle?
Elliot.
By the way, Elliot. So he pretty much just said like what a lot of people online are saying too.
Good morning. I had afternoon, but good
On
morning.
a totally unrelated note, doesn't this guy look like Terry
you.
Drury?
He
I heard
does.
this a little bit from my
Oh my
husband,
gosh.
with a lot of similar talking points. I was asked after the July meeting where my goals for deer management in Michigan lay, especially regarding doe harvest. As some of my comments about being cautious of increasing doe harvest too much could be seen contradictory to my comments in the past, like struggling to take enough does, or that we needed 1 buck in part to increase doe harvest, which we do need in some areas, don't get me wrong. My goal, however, is appropriate levels of harvest of both bucks and does. That is what I want to see and why I supported a 1 buck rule with appropriate antlers harvest on a DMU level. Right now, we are flying blind as to how much we really need. Our population models are outdated and no new surveys have had a chance to be done. All we know is that there are abundant deer for the department, which gives us no measurable starting point, not even ballpark numbers, and no idea of where we should be. Is there enough evidence to say we need to increase doe harvest in many areas? Yes. But is there enough data to support stomping on the gas and to force as many hunters as possible to take does? Not at all. Not yet, anyway. We hear farmers speak and we read their stories about crop damage. And I have seen it myself firsthand. And I have concern for those farmers. But I also see that the farmer we are helping is struggling with deer in 1 square mile. And then in the next square mile, there aren't even enough deer to go bill crop damage permits on. There's no damage. If there are deer on the landscape, there will be deer eating crops. That is the reality. We should not be managing deer to try and eliminate crop damage. That is not wildlife management. That is crop management. One of the farmers we fill crop damage permits for also said that if he has enough damage from the deer to meet crop insurance, then he isn't taking enough responsibility for his land and doing something about it. He is a very wise man and is being a steward of his land.
Skeeter,
Our
have you
deer
noticed
deserve
any change in crop damage permits helping with some of these farmers you're helping with?
Well, I'm noticing it on one particular property, but we've also taken 12 animals off of that property.
This year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this summer.
And you've noticed like less deer there in general, or what are you noticing? Maybe they're not
I've
attacking
noticed
that
less deer
field?
wanting to be in the crop.
In the crop? Okay.
Maybe I'm just educating them. Like if you step out here and you stick your neck up, the chances of you getting a hole in it's pretty high.
Yeah.
It's probably a both and operation there.
So are you thinking that they are still going in the field just at night? Or have you noticed you have a trail camera out there to like see what the deer are doing?
According to the farmer,
okay,
they're still having some damage and said, hey, we should probably get another 6 more out of there. And we're hoping that works, but I don't know the surrounding area, how much is typically in this area, and I hunt there quite a bit. We won't see as many deer because the farmers will actually have their crops on. And then when we're hunting the woods, after the crops come off is when we see the deer. And it's nothing for me to see 20, 30 does a day. And, that's one direction away from that crop. So his goal was like, hey, I want to get the damage permits and I want to get 30 of them off of this particular property.
Okay.
It could handle it.
Okay. So you're almost halfway there.
Yeah.
At 12.
But even that last video that I made, like I was in that field. I was in that field for 2 hours. I think I saw 22 animals.
Yeah.
And was real selective.
Yep.
How big was that field?
It's 5 acres.
That's a little bit too many.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's
too
five. It's 5. The particular it was the kill plot that I was on was the 5 acres in the which the same thing has a 40-acre cornfield, and this is where they kind of stage up and move into that. So I was just
So
working
that
the
was
funnel, watching them walk
that
by.
was 11 and 12.
That was
deer,
11 and 12.
and there was still that many deer that early in that kill
Yeah,
plot.
yeah.
Wow.
You ever shot deer in the summer?
Nope, never.
They smell different.
Oh,
I will tell
really?
you that. Yeah, there's a distinct smell to a summertime deer than there is a wintertime deer.
Can you describe it?
It's less musk and more animal. So
Like more dandery?
yes, more dandery. And then when you go to tag them and you grab the ear of a doe and you go, there's no fur on this thing. It's just like grabbing a pig's ear, like a pink pig's ear.
Interesting. What's the taste?
Oh, it's delicious. It's the
Is
same.
it the same?
Yeah.
No different in taste?
No different.
All that?
I think it's a little bit easier to get them molded up in the summertime. Like I have a little bit more, I have a little bit more humidity like inside my cooler versus what I have in the wintertime. So I can actually age them a little bit faster.
All the old guys back in the day used to say the deer are ripe when the strawberries are ripe.
Yep, I've heard that too.
That must be a Dutch thing.
I'm pretty sure I had like a poacher for a grandpa.
In hopes of increasing antlerless harvest when they themselves have not been leading by example when it comes to harvesting does. This is very disappointing, especially considering how many commissioners live in Zone 3. To be brutally honest, this pilot program seems a lot like a do as I say, not as I do regulation change. The DNR was forced to come up with an earn a second buck implementation plan in a short period of time. That proposal has some obvious flaws when it comes to allowing the earned buck tag to be used anywhere and the lack of a responsible reporting plan. I'm not a supporter of earn a second buck. This proposal does not ensure a balanced harvest from those who harvest 2 bucks. Anyone who ends up harvesting 2 bucks and 1 antlerless deer using this program is not improving the buck to doe ratio. And as we recall, improving the buck to doe ratio was a stated goal of the NRC earlier this year.
I just hope they get the.
I was pleased to see a common sense amendment proposed.
Well, I have a question about the math there. So you have what? 94% of people don't shoot their second buck.
Yep.
What percentage shoot their first buck?
It was like, so there was data on that. I want to say Zone 3, it was dramatically higher than elsewhere. Of the second bucks killed, Zone 3 was like the highest percentage of them. So people were filling 2 buck tags were down there.
Yeah, it was like 9 or something plus or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It was something
9 to 14, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
My question is,
But
okay.
overall, how many bucks are getting killed? Like,
yeah, if you're gonna do of the people who buy
600,000.
two buck tags, how many of them fill their first one, and then only a certain percentage of that is gonna kill a doe?
Yeah, I'll look it up right now.
Theoretically.
For further disease testing and surveillance. There's plenty of time to get this done as this does not begin until 2027. We understand there will be additional financial burdens to funding the pilot program. There will also be additional tags sold if the program is successful. We should also look to the organizations and individuals.
135,000 approximately shot 1 buck last year in 2024.
Is that just people who shot 1 buck, or is that people who bought a combo and shot 1 buck?
Their first or only bucks, it's both.
Okay, so the best way to get an idea of like how many does this could possibly take would be like whatever percentage of that is people who have a combo license, and then who knows what percentage of that, maybe 60%.
Yeah, what is that? 135,000 divided by 600,000 would be, right? Hunters. So 20. So only 22% of the hunters shot a buck. out of all the hunters? Because
There's 600,000 hunters in Michigan and only 135,000 shot a buck. So is that only 20%, right? Yeah, 22%. So then we could shoot an extra 50,000 does potentially. More though, because guys that want it, yeah.
Just here, you didn't ask us how many antlerless deer came off our property or people we mentored to hunt antlerless deer.
Correct. But if a person harvested buck in zone 3, that person should balance their own harvest by taking an antlerless deer.
I'm not arguing with you.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Jim Sweeney.
Missed something.
She was talking about how I think she allows people to shoot does on her property, and not she didn't shoot the does. So
Gotcha. Jake wants to be this guy.
Good afternoon. Whether or not bonus bucks can be harvested outside of the test counties in this earn a second buck experiment is largely irrelevant. The impact of allowing bonus bucks to be harvested in any county would be so small as to be meaningless. The greater concern is that the department is designing an experiment to measure the impact of a single variable, the opportunity to harvest a second buck, using a metric, antlerless harvest rate, which is influenced by many, many other variables which can't be controlled for. The result is an experiment that is fundamentally flawed and which is guaranteed to produce inconclusive data that will offer absolutely no guidance for forming future deer management policy. It's troubling that you're voting on an experiment which has not even yet been fully designed. In a communication with the department a week ago, one of the designers of this experiment shared that in the past there have been almost no experiments from other states designed to objectively measure the impact of a single regulation. The reason for that is it's almost impossible to filter out the influence of all of the other variables that impact harvest outcomes.
Oh, this guy.
Despite that, the department is forging ahead, attempting to come up with.
He's a little spicy at mine.
Although they have said that it will be months before they come up.
He's the one that's
with any specifics as to how.
This is Jim. This is Icer's buddy.
Oh, is it?
This is the one that was complaining about older bucks past CWD on.
Sweeney. Proposed for the Earn a Second Buck pilot program. There are a huge number of variables which influence hunter antlerless harvest decisions other than regulations, and they vary greatly from county to county and year to year. To illustrate that
theory,
fact,
shouldn't there be more CWD in APR counties?
Yeah, because the age structure's increased dramatically over the last few years, but yeah, I don't see that anywhere.
Similarity, and if regulations are the primary variable impacting antlerless harvest levels, then logically harvest data would show fairly uniform trends both between paired counties and among all the counties with similar regulations. As you can see from this data, that's not the case. There's considerable variability in antlerless harvest trends between each of the proposed supposedly matched pairs.
We're doing pretty good.
While one of the pairs showed some similarity in antlerless harvest trends, the others showed significant differences despite having the same regulations. In Berry and Allegan counties, Berry experienced an 8% reduction in antlerless harvest, while Allegan experienced a 10% increase. Same regulations, yet antlerless deer harvest went down in one and increased in the paired control county. Ingham and Isabella experienced even greater variation, with Ingham increasing antlerless harvest by 22%, while Isabella experienced only a 1% increase during the same period. Regulations played no role in the significant differences in these outcomes, which clearly indicates that there are other variables that impact antlerless harvest, which would need to be controlled for in order to produce any meaningful measurement of the impact of the proposed regulation change. To further illustrate the variability between counties, even when uniform regulations exist, I've included historical data showing the antlerless harvest trends which occurred in different counties grouped by similar regulations during the time period that the APR CWD experiment occurred. You can see from that graphic that under identical regulations, there was huge variability in outcomes. Yet if the Earn a Second Buck experiment shows variability in outcomes between the test and control counties, they will be presumed to be solely the result of different regulations. That's a fundamental design flaw. This commission has stated its desire to manage using science and to incorporate that standard into its decision-making process moving forward. Moving ahead now with a 5-year pilot program without any detailed information about exactly how the change would be measured And without the proposed methodology being subjected to any scrutiny to weigh its scientific validity would be putting the cart before the horse. I would urge this commission to take a step back and wait for the department
Do you think he likes using big words?
to provide a
defend us?
comprehensive and
Does it
detailed
work?
summary of the actual method that they would use to measure change before
I could
committing
like read
to
it
moving
myself.
forward. Unless
It's
they
like, you
can
know what, I'm gonna
provide
use
a
all these
clear and
big
compelling
adjectives.
explanation of how they would control for all of the variables, then this simply becomes a waste of time and limited resources with no actual benefit. Moving forward would simply be taking the path of least resistance and throwing darts blindly in the dark, hoping that there will be a good outcome.
Why is
That's
he
the
looking nice
opposite
to
of
the
the
whole
kind
time
of
he's
sound
talking?
scientific
I
management
think he's looking at,
that the Senate wants to embrace.
he's looking at it,
And
see where his
finally, one
time
more
is.
concern.
Oh, is that what he's
There are
looking
8
at?
months into the year, and the department has yet to come up with a plan for revising the CWD response plan or the deer management plan, both of which are long overdue for revision. We simply can't continue to kick the can down the road on those issues as we've been doing for the last 12 years. We need to do better in that regard.
So what does he want?
So he
Thank
wants he wants it to be tabled for right now. I understand where he's coming from because they don't have
What to be tabled?
what the earn a second buck
And $1, I believe, right?
and $1
Yeah.
because we don't have the data. But you can't get the data unless you have a goal in mind. That's which is what we're talking about is putting the program together.
Yes.
It's the trust that if the data plan, if it doesn't come together, that the DNR won't step away from it. They'll push forward with an inferior product just to say that they got it done.
The ability to talk, as you.
Yeah.
It's not.
I want to be clear about my position today.
No, let's listen to Josh. I want to listen to Josh.
Sorry, I just cut you off.
No, we're good. No.
That originally I did not support the earn a second buck from the beginning, and I do still have concerns with the concept, as others have stated. But the question before us now is also how this pilot, if implemented, how it moves forward. For that reason, I strongly support the
I love his
proposed amendment
sunglasses.
for Wildlife Conservation Order number 7 of 2026.
He's got that bling, man.
Requiring the earned
Sunglasses
second buck
on his
to be
hat.
harvested in one of the 5 treatment counties. If the purpose of the pilot is to determine whether earn a second buck can be used as a tool to reduce deer densities in targeted areas, then both sides of the incentive need to remain
Best day
connected to
ever.
those areas. If there is some variance, it's preventable variance. Otherwise, we're not testing a deer management tool. We're simply rewarding an antlerless harvest in one area with an additional buck opportunity somewhere else. And those are 2 very different things. I said before that I believe this should be viewed as a deer density reduction strategy, not an opportunity hunt. We need to call it that. The wording is everything in this subject. If we're asking hunters to remove additional antlerless deer because these 5 counties have a need for population reduction, then the additional buck harvest should occur within those same treatment counties. Keeping that second buck within the treatment area makes this pilot more targeted, more measurable, and ultimately more defensible. And I think this amendment does something that's important. It begins bridging a gap in public trust. There's been plenty of skepticism surrounding this proposal, including from myself in here. But this amendment shows sportsmen that have concerns are being heard and that the commission is willing to refine a proposal to better align it with the stated management objective. I think most of us can support adding another tool to the toolbox if it proves successful as a targeted deer density reduction strategy. And that's also an important distinction. We're not asking whether Michigan hunters want another buck. We're asking whether this incentive can effectively reduce deer densities in places where reduction is needed. I could dig my heels in and oppose every piece of this simply because I opposed it from the beginning, but protecting my position and my ego does nothing for the resource. The resource has to come first every time, not just when it's convenient for us sportsmen.
Good for you, Josh.
And if this pilot ultimately proves me wrong, as Elliot said, maybe I'll beat him to the podium. I'll be the first one up here telling you I was wrong. But if we're going to test it, let's actually test the tool where we're claiming to test. Keep the incentive where the problem is. Keep the harvest within the treatment area. I would also ask the commission to continue exploring 2 additional safeguards as this pilot moves forward, and that's a meaningful method of harvest verification. Whether that's a random pull, I know it's hard to staff these check-ins, but if it's a random pull and you got to go, that makes sense. and the ability to keep earn a second buck off public lands where the additional harvest pressure may not be warranted. I don't believe we should stop working toward those pieces simply because this amendment moves forward. Give us a pilot that's targeted, measurable, enforceable, and capable of producing data that actually tells us whether the tool works. Because at the end of 5 years, the question shouldn't be whether hunters enjoyed the additional opportunity. The question should be, did we successfully reduce deer densities where we intended to? If the answer is yes, then we've identified another tool Michigan can bring out of the toolbox when and where it's needed. For those reasons, while I remain skeptical of the second buck itself, I strongly support the proposed amendment to Wildlife Conservation Order number 7 of 2026.
That's insane.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. Dave, you're up.
Good job, Jersh.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry about that. Justin canceled.
Justin Root didn't make it today.
Do I get his 5 too?
No, sorry.
I had to ask.
Did we meet Justin yesterday?
Just want to apologize for my absence last couple meetings.
Justin who?
From
Family and work take
He was here
precedence
this
over my
morning.
activism
I saw his name
sometimes,
on the
especially in the
camera.
summer,
I
but
didn't know if he was going to talk or
been
not.
plugged in
He
from
usually
afar
said
and
he was
obviously here today.
Bowing out because he said hunters hate him. I think he was feeling bad.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah.
What happened?
You know, like some people, since he works for Farm Bureau now, some people put his face online and said this guy will jump on whatever bandwagon is writing
Oh, my
his check.
gosh.
And, yeah, they're forgetting about everything he did for MECC and
For years.
for years. And yeah, I felt a little bit bad for Justin this morning. I had to give him a hug and rub his back.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
My
That's
thoughts on why that
bullshit.
should
People
occur.
can be ruthless.
And
All
it
right.
really comes down to one thing, and
Dave's
mainly,
on again.
if we truly want to test the merits of what this program is going to look like, this pilot, it has to be contained in those areas. We can't contaminate it with the other areas, or taint it, maybe is a better word, for the 1 buck areas. And at the end of the 3 or 5 years, whatever it's going to be, I will race Josh and Elliot up to the podium, and I will be the first one that says that I was
keep
wrong.
seeing,
But the only way to truly know what's
speaker
best
thing
for the
come up
resources
and-
is to run a fair trial. So that's my
Where's
sole
Okay,
request.
that
from
must be
guys today.
you doing it.
And lastly, I
on
want to give
this, and
credit
then I'm
to
seeing it
Josh.
on
Yeah, when he
About
mutes it, you
today,
can see
but
it.
It's reminding me of
'Cause I'm
the
not
power
listening
of words,
to this.
and he mentioned it. But secretaries are no longer secretaries; they're administrative assistants. Receptionists are now front office coordinators, and janitors are facility maintenance technicians. So I believe we should, in fact, change the name of this program to a deer reduction zone. I think it more accurately reflects what it is, and is what other states call it as well. I didn't even need my 5, and it certainly didn't need my 10, but those are my comments. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Wyndham.
Steve.
Good job, Dave. I'm looking forward to doing a full episode with Dave.
I think that would be good. I think Dave is a articulate human being.
Yeah, and he's been doing these meetings for a long time.
Yep.
And I know, like, back in the day on Facebook, always seen stuff. And he cares. And he does the research.
Well, thank you, Commissioners and Deputy Director Lott. My name is Steve Wyndham. I'm the Development Director for a group called Outdoor Mentors. We are new to the state of Michigan, but we were founded in 2002 out of Wichita, Kansas. And we have a simple mission and a really direct purpose. Our mission is to empower youth through outdoor experiences and mentorship. And our purpose is to reduce the decline in licensed buyers. That is our user pay model in our state and across the nation. From 02 to 19, we were basically Kansas-based out of Wichita. But since 2019, we've grown into 9 other states throughout
You
the
like having those
Midwest.
cords
And
touch
we have
you,
a goal to
Brian?
be nationwide by 2035.
Tickling your legs.
Our
trying
goal
not to
is get
unplug
more
them.
young people into the outdoors. We service people from the
We
ages
got
of
a
10 to
lot going on
22.
this morning.
We're not an introductory course. We're a true mentorship that breeds lifelong conservationists and license holders. We recruit mentors, we screen them with a background check, and we train them to be great stewards and examples in the outdoors for young people. And we allow for every single pursuit that our great state and a lot of states in this nation have. Everything from fishing to deer hunting, turkeys, predator calling, trapping. and even sport shooting with clays and other activities as well. We do seminars, we do e-scouting programs, we do everything that is getting people back into the outdoors. And it's a huge R3 movement because while we're recruiting new hunters and anglers, we are retaining those by ample opportunity and exposure. We're also reactivating older hunters who might have fallen out of the field and want to mentor a young person into what they love to do as well. If you look at the IHEA data, nearly 40% of people who buy or go through hunter safety never actually go hunting. The three main causes of that are lack of access,
this guy's contact
someone to
information,
go with,
Skeeter.
and fear of doing something wrong or confidence in their own skills. We eliminate all barriers. We pair our youth with a qualified mentor. There's no cost associated with it. And the only restriction and requirement that they have is to have hunter safety when they participate with us. It's not an introductory, and it's not a first-time hunt. It's true mentorship.
See what happens.
Nearly 40% of our participants come back for a second, third, or fourth opportunity. Because if I take you hunting one time and then don't actually steward you through the process of becoming a lifelong hunter, it was a great thing that you did, but you might not ever do it again. So we are not a one-and-done program. We offer the opportunity for people to come back over and over again. And we also make sure that they are led by great examples in the field. Our mentors are trained to talk about the North American model of wildlife conservation. They're trained to talk about careers in conservation in the outdoors, from being a biologist or a forester, or working for a DNR, or being a guide or outfitter. They're also talked about ethical shot placement and harvest. And so everything that we do in the field actually breeds and promotes and produces new hunters that will stay with us for a lifetime. We are currently here in Michigan, and we've been here about a year now, but what we're looking for really is the three main needs. We need mentors, we need access, and we need to get the word out to those youth. There's nearly 2 million young people between the age of 10 to 22 in our state, and about 15 to 20% of them participate in fishing, and only 5 to 8% of them participate in hunting. That leaves almost 1.5 million kids that could be introduced to fishing and become anglers, and that leaves over 2 million young people that could be lifelong hunters, whether it's ducks, it's deer, it's turkeys, whatever it could be, predator calling. There is interest and there is opportunity out there, but we're looking for you to give us some help, and those in the room and those listening, to help spread the word. I hope all of you would consider being a mentor, being a champion, helping us find land access, or connecting us with partners. We've had some great welcome.
So what's his? So they have a foundation, or what's the?
It's a mentorship program. So I missed the name of his, but it's like mentor something.
Okay.
Something mentor.
I think the purpose of him being here is to create networking and try to get people to help people who will buy into what he's saying right now, and then help him spread the word.
So they don't have
financing, whatever.
Yeah.
Does this help us at the next meeting to do this for our thing that we're working on?
Potentially.
Great question.
I have a quick question. Being new in Michigan for your organization, what's success look like in the next 1 to 2, 3 years?
In the next year, we'd like to hire a dedicated program coordinator for the state. I'm the development director, so my territory is really the whole nation to help find those funding sources. I have been working with Gary and Todd around trying to be part of the R3 movement here in the state, knowing that the federal dollars are actually restricted by the state legislator was baffling to me. That the DNR can apply for federal pass-through dollars to have more R3 efforts confuses me. But we'd like to serve annually over 1,000 youth, recruit 400 to 500 mentors, work with land partners. We can provide tax receipts for landowners if they give us access as well. We hold insurance on all of our events as well. And really, it's just getting more kids into the outdoors. So right now, we're gearing up for Operation Marsh Mentors with the waterfowl season approaching, looking for mentors to take kids out waterfowl hunting. And with the deer herd issue, all of our deer hunts are primarily doe hunts. So we love to get kids out and harvest that first doe and teach them about the management of the herd.
Great. Yeah, we need his information.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We absolutely do.
It
I think they said his
is,
name was Mark.
Yeah, it's on his name's
Outdoor
He's from Outdoor Mentors.
Yes, Mark
Steve Wyndham.
Steve
Wyndham.
you are first up for 3 minutes. There you are, Dave. I was looking for you. I think there are 2, are there not?
Hello, Commissioners.
Really?
Dave Pagel. I'm with Michigan Traditional Bow Hunters.
No.
As you're aware, we came
Dave,
out.
could you turn on your mic
Not on?
Just get it closer to
or
your face,
get it
buddy.
closer to you?
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
I'm with Michigan Traditional Bow Hunters. As you're aware, we came out in strong support of the one buck rule. Still support that. The organization's been very skeptical about earn a second buck, but pragmatically, it looks like it's inevitable that we're going to have a pilot of some sort. And if that is the case, we do support the amendment that the buck has to be taken within one of the treatment counties. I think it skews the data terribly if we don't go that route. I have some issues with the design of the pilot, but I think we're trying to measure too many variables at one time. But if we're going to go about it, I think that harvest of the buck has to be in the treatment area. Kind of piggybacking on something that some of the other folks were talking about, Michigan Traditional Bow Hunters has been taking the youth requirements very seriously. We have a program
We'll do a
within
podcast with him for sure, Nick.
our organization called the Lost Bow Campaign. And it basically is a program where if you go out to our website or our Facebook page, we are actively connecting youth that cannot afford an archery piece of archery equipment but are interested. We will connect them with either archery gear that we have on hand, or we have relationships with a number of bowyers that will build a youth bow for a kid to get them involved. It's going quite well. We have actually quite a backlog of equipment right now. So please go out and nominate a kid to get involved in archery. It is working. As Bob said, there's a lot of traditional archery get-togethers over the summertime here in Michigan. And at our jamboree, we probably had at least 25 kids running around with longbows and recurves and back quivers, just having a ball shooting the various courses at the jamboree. The traditional get-togethers are well worth going to just if you want to eat. Almost all of us feed our people very, very well when we have one of these. But lots of times they're 2 or 3 day events where camping's available, and very good. But we are taking the youth side of it very seriously. That's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Steve Rollinger.
Another Steve? Steve.
What's he got on for shirt? Oh, that was Red Wings.
I'm here due to I'm going to still call them the proposed changes to the drawing situation at Michigan's managed waterfowl areas. I'm going to be real quick and speak about the Shiawassee state game area. People have stopped to come. The participation is very weak. It concerns.
I think you can apply for a tag and get it, and there's some giant bucks.
We need to get back to 70 and.
I've tried a few times and not drawn.
I've seen some pictures
on the weekend.
They look like Iowa bucks.
All of the
giant.
tens of thousands of waterfowl license purchased in the state have paid a portion of that fee towards the managed areas. And that's what we want. We want managed areas. The areas without a drawing.
He's there.
There's no manager. And the proposed drawings and the closed days and the proposition of having to be present at a drawing for the possibility of a hunt the following day, and on a weekend, I might add, is just keeping more people away. People are not traveling. I know many people through the years, they're not coming for the first week of November due to 2 priority drawings. There's a second youth drawing at the prime time of the year. A few days later, there's a veterans preferred drawing. People aren't coming. They can't get in the regular draw. So,
Brooke locked it down.
you know, we want managed areas. Shiawassee was once by far the greatest, even better than the famed Bayou Meadow in Arkansas. It was the greatest
I
waterfowl
guess I'm
managed.
confused. He's saying there's too many people hunting, so it's not as good.
There's not enough dollars going into it, so it's not
deteriorating.
As good. Yeah, it's deteriorating.
Okay.
Drawings and priority drawings are just going to solidify what it has become. It has become basically a very cheap but excellent hunt club for 30 or 40 people that live close by. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. That completes our public testimony. It's 11:47. I think that's a record, to be honest with you. I greatly appreciate everybody's willingness to work with us on this agenda so we can get through a few action items. Commissioners, I'd like to keep plowing through. If you're good with that, all right.
Okay, we're cruising through.
Cruising.
We're a little
We'll go
quicker than we thought, Nick.
briefly through the business items. New business, we have some items that we're going to hear after we get through action items on stream temperatures and some of the land use orders that we've already heard about that'll be new for director's action and DNR and commission action. We have 4 land transactions this month. Are there any comments or concerns regarding these land transactions, commissioners? Deputy Director, is it your intent that Director or you will sign these?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So, do you think they'll cruise through this stuff, or you think it's
There
gonna
are
take
5 orders for information this month, and we're going to hear from those after we get done with business today with our presentations.
Yeah, get his stuff.
And we'll come back to those after we go through old business.
Business next. All right.
There are no director's action items under old business, but we do have 2 directors under NRC orders for action.
Do you have one of those too?
Wildlife Conservation Order Amendment Number 7. This is what has been previously dubbed Learn a Second Buck Pilot Program.
Okay, we're doing it right now.
Awesome. Can I have a motion to move this amendment?
Love to get the word out. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second. Okay, so they moved the amendment over.
Oh.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Mr. Chair Humphries, I move to amend the Wildlife Conservation Order Amendment Number 7, 2026, to change where the bonus tag can be filled. Bonus tag, which is a second single deer license, will only be valid in the 5 pilot treatment counties of Berry, Hillsdale, Ingham, Kalamazoo, and Lapeer, which are listed in 3.101M.
Second.
I have a motion, motion on the amendment and a second. Is there any discussion on that amendment?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
as I think everyone is clearly aware, I was not in favor of earning the second buck in May. Now that we have passed that pilot program forward, I wanted to make sure that we did it correctly. And I commend Pete and the other commissioners for taking the time to make this right, which is why I seconded the amendment to the Wildlife Conservation Order. So I will be voting yes.
Is there any other discussion on this amendment? Commissioner Nybert?
No, let's see what he's got to say.
Yes, and I know this is more of an administrative item, but I just wanted to make a comment that I did really like the idea of being intentional with how we describe
So
pilot
they
areas
pushed it forward, Skeeter. It's going to get voted on. He voted yes.
and the deer reduction zone, something along those lines. I think it creates, more intent behind the commission's action here. So I guess my comment would be to encourage us to work with the department on that to make sure that we're being clear about the intent and how this aligns with the wildlife conservation order.
Madam Chair, I just want to piggyback on what Commissioner Melbert said.
Have they talked at all about proving it?
Proving what?
Proving the animal harvest?
Not yet.
No.
Yeah.
Where did the audio go for this dude?
Oh.
Talk about it. I also want to share that I do.
I just cranked it up, so.
Yeah, get ready to slap it back down.
Yep.
Hopefully we continue to look at affordable economic.
Regarding verification, yeah.
To make sure we
Economic.
Yes.
As a proponent of this deer density reduction or earn a second buck, this is certainly something we're working on. It's not going to be slammed into place without a lot of discussion through the commission, Chair Humphreys, the director. This is a big opportunity to reduce doe density and deer density in those areas, and therefore reducing hopefully the spread of CWD, which allows us to control this disease before it gets out of hand. So I'm speaking without a lot of data in front of me, but I know if we reduce doe numbers and deer numbers, we have a better chance at reducing the spread of this disease. So that's why we're doing this program. So it's a pilot. We're going to get it right, and we're going to see if it works.
Any other discussion?
It sounds good. It sounds kind of good,
Call
right?
the vote on the amendment. This is the amendment portion of it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same. The amendment passes. All right, I'd like to call for the vote. Is there any discussion on the amendment number 7 as amended now before we move on? Okay, hearing that, then I'd like to call the vote for the motion to approve Wildlife Conservation Order Amendment number 7 of 2026 as amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. It passes unanimously. Thank you.
They did, yep.
All right.
They did just pass it.
Our other action item is Wildlife Conservation Order Amendment number 8 of 2026 for the muskrat trapping season.
You're right.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or comments regarding this amendment? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. This amendment is approved unanimously. Okay, rather than going into committee reports, yes. Yeah, we could do that. Are you ready to do that? At this point, I asked you to wait until after public appearances. I think we've lost a lot of our waterfowl hunters at this point, but still.
Yeah, they're all out here.
Yeah, Madam Chair, thank you. Obviously, this is an issue that's been talked about for a long time, our license fees. Unfortunately, we have not been getting the necessary traction with some of our other state partners. Being the chair of the Fisheries Committee and working with Commissioner Walters, who's the chair of the Wildlife Committee, we thought it was important for the commission to go on record about the need to increase our license fee and send that to our partners over at the state. Commissioner Walters, do you have anything before I read the resolution? Dan?
I would just like to thank Commissioner Pewens for giving me the opportunity to work together with him. I think this resolution is very strong and powerful, and I think with review from all the commissioners, it should go smoothly. So thank you.
Resolution in support of hunting and fishing license fee increase for the Department of Natural Resources. Whereas the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, Fisheries and Wildlife programs are funded primarily through hunting and fishing license revenue and federal excise taxes on hunting
No, I
fishing,
don't think we
and
got to that
shooting
yet.
equipment. And
No.
whereas Michigan's
you're
current
fine.
hunting and fishing license package and program costs have increased significantly since that time. And whereas budget constraints have required the department to reduce expenditures through staffing adjustments, deferred maintenance, and other operational efficiencies. And whereas hunting and fishing organizations have expressed support for an updated license package, therefore be it resolved that the Michigan Natural Resources Commission encourages the Michigan legislature to enact an updated hunting and fishing license package. And be it further resolved that the commission urges the department to work with hunters and anglers when addressing future budget reductions so that fisheries and wildlife programs and hunting and fishing opportunities are maintained to the greatest extent possible.
Second.
All right, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor,
So
say
they're going to
aye.
try to budget cut? No. Or
This is nothing more than them saying we are going to officially say to our legislators, this is what we want and this is what we've heard.
Because it didn't pass earlier, the bill didn't pass.
It didn't
so
go
now
through
they
the
go
legislature, so they're just, it's more of a pressure.
Yeah, we're now going to step into the ring. We let the DNR try their part. Now we're going to see what we can do. Okay.
So they agree with the need for
yes.
Why there's a need.
For reports. Or
If,
maybe
if
take
everyone
reports
agrees
and
that there's a
lunch.
need, that's the
All right.
that's the problem.
Pardon me?
Okay, well,
We're gonna
we got the
power
amendment?
through. All right.
What?
So
Power
Director,
through?
I'm gonna turn it back over to you for those presentations.
So is
For
Director
Deputy
Bowen no
Director,
longer
excuse me.
on the
All right,
director of
we
the
have
DNR? It's
an
now Shannon.
update on the
Skeeter?
scientific
I don't know.
management
I
resolution.
know she's been here the last couple times.
Monthly, we do this, so this should be a quick update. We have Chad Stewart here, head of our deer program group, and Sarah Thompson, chief of wildlife.
So this should be the
1 minute left, so good morning, everyone. I will be very quick with this. I know there's a lot of more on the agenda. There has been significant progress in working towards our agreement with the Wildlife Management Institute, WMI. Over the past month, our staff has met with their principal investigators assigned to this project to start developing those relationships. And while the proposed work and formalized agreement are not finished just yet, we are close and fully expect that that agreement will be finalized prior to next month's update. For this month's update, thought it would be make the most sense to give everyone a preview of the work, the proposed work that WMI will be conducting over the next year in evaluating our deer program. The below items or the following items are the scope of work that will be outlined in the agreement. First and foremost is WMI staff will have access to a lot of the documents that we develop within the DNR to start the process of evaluating our deer management program. That includes, but is not limited to, our deer management plan, the proposed and past wildlife conservation orders in recent years, our DMI reports, harvest data, disease management plans and reports, etc. Additionally, there will be a data or a technical review that WMI staff will be conducting. They'll be evaluating population monitoring methods, the research that we are involved in, harvest estimation and reporting, the scientific basis for our recommendations, herd sex and age structure, hunter satisfaction, conflict measures, etc. WMI staff will also be comparing Michigan's approach with other peer states, including states like Minnesota, Wisconsin, New York,
So they're putting forth
Pennsylvania,
an
and
effort to
Missouri.
actually tell us what's going on. with
WMI
deer
will also be
population.
conducting staff interviews.
What is WMI?
And that will begin
It's wildlife management
first
something?
interviews with
What is
relevant
that?
staff
No.
members. That could
can look it
include
up.
executive staff, deer program staff, field supervisors, policy specialists, etc.
Probably the branch.
But
we went
additionally,
over before.
WMI will also be conducting a broad and anonymous online interview with DNR field staff,
See
law
if they can
enforcement
add another
officers, etc.,
300,000 to
to
their
help
budget
ensure that
year.
field perspectives are captured thoroughly and confidentially. WMI will also be conducting interviews or reaching out to both present and past NRC commissioners to get their perspectives on deer regulation process and the data provided by the department for deer management recommendations. They'll be conducting a disease review, so they'll be assessing our surveillance framework for diseases such as CWD, TB, and EHD, evaluating how disease concerns are integrated into regulatory recommendations, and consider the communication approaches surrounding diseases. WMI staff will also be conducting a stakeholder survey. So they'll be systematically administering a public survey,
including the Michigan DNR, research, conservation, hunter recruitment, management programs. So is this a new thing? Or maybe they're just expanding on it more now and Chad's kind of leading up? I'm not sure.
Governance and communications approaches within the department. So they'll be assessing the deer regulatory process, including recommendation development and the presentation, engagement, and finalization of our deer regulations, as well as evaluating the external communications that come out of our wildlife division and our deer program. So all recommendations from WMI staff for improvement are meant to be specific and actionable. WMI will be providing monthly progress reports, and summarized findings from all of these items will go into a final report at the conclusion of the project. WMI staff will also be giving an oral presentation that summarizes their finding at a NRC meeting in the next year when the schedule allows. So hopefully that is a summary of what to expect over the next year. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them at this time.
That was longer than a minute, Chad.
Sorry.
But no, I just want to say thank you to you and Chief Thompson.
So it's been around for a while.
This is further along at this point than what I had expected. So that's much appreciated, and I'm really like the way that the direction this is going.
Okay.
So thank you.
This came from Brandon, what he said last month or the month before, when he said, like, we need to have a better idea of what's going on with deer numbers and all that stuff. And then that's
next we have
Chad,
Fisheries Division
joined WMI must be to bring it in the mix to help
recommendations.
with it. All right, fishery
Dr.
time.
Lucas Nathan.
What is, do you know what?
Your patients.
That's that outside source, the wildlife council that they're gonna bring in to kind of go over with our regulations.
Preface real quickly. Good morning, afternoon, right on edge. Very much appreciate your time. We'll try to be brief. Also very much appreciative of the resolution you just passed. So thank you for that. Lucas, go ahead.
Look what our phones do.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Deputy Director and Commissioners. My
My
name is Lucas Nathan. I'm the Aquatic Species and Regulatory Affairs Unit Manager for Fisheries Division. And here today to present the first of two sets of regulation recommendations for this year's regulation cycle.
Yeah, so just talking to him, it sounds like the WMI has been around for a long time, which is what I was seeing on the old internet. And they are going to come in and help the DNR or assist DNR with seeing all these things that's going on with the state, put forth the effort to see, harvest all these, I guess, to get more data.
Okay.
And they're gonna assist with that.
Perfect.
With following a survey, or they might hear from anglers from an advisory committee or other anglers from the public that see an opportunity that could be addressed with the regulations. From there, our local staff start the review. They're the ones with the local knowledge, the expertise of the system, the data, and they can provide that initial review. From there, a proposal form gets developed. It moves through our basin team review process, which is sort of a peer-to-peer review process internally, and also serves as an internal decision step in this process. From there, we get angler input, whether that be our advisory committees, anglers, broader social surveys if the regulation warrants it. And that allows us to revise that proposal as needed. And from there, it goes into our multi-divisional review committee, which consists of fisheries, law enforcement, and executive division. And the last step in our internal process is to get the signatures from Chief Claremont, other chiefs that get to review the fisheries order and executive approval. And that finally brings us to today, which is presenting our recommendations. And pending your discussion and decision, they would either get implemented immediately or find their way into our regulations book for the next fishing season, which would begin April 1st. And throughout this process, we always use a diverse set of criteria when we're thinking about our regulations. Obviously, the biological rationale and the impacts on fish populations is the first thing that comes to mind, but it's not the only thing. We know that we need to take angler opportunity into consideration, the enforceability of the regulations, angler support and getting representative feedback from our anglers on the management strategies. And last, but certainly not least, regulatory complexity is something that we're always keeping in mind as well. So depending on the regulation, these things might be more or less important depending on what we're trying to accomplish, but they're all always present and always things that we're taking into consideration. And also note, we kind of picture this as a filter of sorts, and that's meant to represent that we oftentimes talk about more regulations throughout the year, but only a subset of those that make it through our process and check all these boxes that we're concerned about ultimately make it here today to present our recommendations. But with that in mind, for this year, we have recommended changes to 5 fisheries orders. Then those are focused on northern pike, lake sturgeon, trout, and salmon. And this year, all of those recommendations are focused on inland lakes and streams, so we don't have any Great Lakes specific regulations that we're recommending for this year. That map on the right-hand side there and the dots represent where in the state those regulations will be focused, with the colors representing the 5 different fisheries orders. So you can see it's a pretty broad distribution this year, but tended to be a lot in the Lake Michigan basin.
Fisheries, Tony's not here.
Dadgummit, Tony.
He's due for a
overview of
fly
where we're going
tie-in
today and next
episode. He's
month.
got a couple topics
We
he
have
wants
3
to touch on. I
orders.
think he said he's going to record one this week.
Share
So.
today for information that includes.
Skeeter's got to leave. He's got a work crisis.
Which is our Michigan,
Don't envy
Wisconsin
what he's got to
boundary
do
water
right now.
regulations.
But
Fisheries Order 210, which is designated trout streams, and Fisheries Order 254, which is inland lake trout and salmon regulations.
I'm working on
Looking
it,
ahead
trying
to
unplug everything.
next month in September, we'll have 2
I'll hold it
orders.
in the wall.
Fisheries Order 204, which is spawning closures, and Fisheries Order 206 is our special regs for warm water species. Both sets of those recommendations be focused on northern pike.
How does that happen? Yeah.
Damn it, now I'm
So jumping into the first order, Fisheries Order 205. Again, this is our boundary waters order. So we try to align regulations between Michigan and Wisconsin to avoid confusion and avoid creating ineffective regulations that might differ. This one is focused on the Menominee River for lake sturgeon. If you remember last year, we had recommended and ultimately it was decided that we expanded catch and immediate release.
I don't have enough knowledge to have an opinion.
Opportunity for lake sturgeon.
I do remember they were talking about the lake sturgeon being you couldn't catch them
through this process, and after the kind of dust settled on our process,
Wisconsin,
we recognize
so
that
trying to protect
slight confusions
Wisconsin
and some
also
inconsistencies with the way that Wisconsin regulations were worded. So this is intended just to be a cleanup of this change, with the resulting proposed changes being to delineate the Grand Rapids Dam, which is that solid black bar there on the map. Upstream of there would be a CIR season from the first Saturday in June through the first Sunday in March, with the possession season through the month of September, starting the first Saturday. Downstream of that dam would be a CIR season during the month of September, starting that first Saturday. So again, this one not
you don't want to
changing
grab,
necessarily an opportunity, just meant to clarify these regulations and the intent behind the regulations. Therefore, we recommend it being for immediate effect, just to get this cleaned up as soon as we can.
Just for clarity,
he's with me all day today. So,
is there a way that they can meander past the dam, or are they two separate kind of?
Yeah, separate
management.
Yeah, that's hence the different regulations there.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Okay, next up, Fisheries Order 210 is our designated trout streams. This one we have recommendations on several different water bodies. So I'm going to walk through a couple of different groups.
So we're on.
And the underlying issue here is pretty consistent. Trout regulations are highly specialized. We have a lot of special regs across the state.
There's a little bit of
when this happens,
the Grand Rapids
systems
River.
continue to change. We eventually
he had work crisis.
regulations no longer make sense based on
we'll make
support
it
and what we're trying to achieve
short,
in management goals.
Take
And this can cause a lot of confusion.
Actually will work
We hear a lot of that from our anglers as well as our staff, that trout regulations are some of the most confusing ones we have. So we try to avoid that confusion when we can and update these regulations.
We passed
survey work. We
We're
learned
talking
more
about fisheries now, so not as important.
The
for
first recommendation we
it's
have
cool,
is
but I
on
don't know
Fair
enough
Creek
about it
in
all to
Crawford County.
have a strong
That
opinion.
black
But
rectangle there.
you know
This
a
is a
little bit about
tributary
fish,
as part of the
don't
Alsaba
he
River
does a little
Basin.
bit, but Tony's
This
a
is a
big
system
guy.
that
Yeah, I'm not a real big.
has been
He couldn't
managed
make
for
it today.
trout.
He
We
had
know
some
that
doctor
anglers like to
appointments.
shoot trout
He
in
had to
this
work.
area.
You know, people have to
These
work.
water temperature monitoring.
Wednesday, can you believe
That's
it?
been
I forgot
tends
you're
to
the
put
land
trout
guy.
year round.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason,
Yeah,
it hasn't made it
I
into
don't do the
orders yet.
sea. I
Currently,
do the
just
land.
I'm with you, man.
regulations.
Keep my legs out of the
We're
water.
proposing to
Great.
add
I
it
float
in
really
as
well, though.
upstream, which will automatically apply our type 1 fishing
So
regulations.
unanimous,
The
unanimous.
main
No one
change
voted
there
against
being
it.
that you had
Okay.
the closed season.
So it
They
was
would open at the
Walters
end
to
of
say
April
he's
through
not
September 30th. So it
for
provides
Ernebuck,
some additional
but
protections for
to
these trout
make it, they
populations
spent a
during
lot of
the
time
flying
getting to
windows.
this point to mend it, and he's like, I'm going to support it
While
that
I'm
way,
on
even
this
though I
slide,
don't support
brief
it from the
tangent,
beginning. That's
but
why
I
he
want to
seconded
acknowledge
it
this
to
map here
get it
that's on the
through.
right, and the map that you'll
Yeah,
see
they did
throughout my
that, and then
presentation here today.
it seems
Is
like
fresh from our newly
Edley
released
was
this
like,
year
there's a lot
online
more stuff we're doing.
salmon
We're not done.
mapper.
Once this gets
New
implemented, it's
tool.
going to
And
be,
kudos
we're
go
going to
to
continue
Austin
to
Bartos, our GIS specialist in the
change it
division.
or whatever. It sounded really good what he said. You know, we're
Specialist.
trying to help
With their powers combined,
see
they're a
the beef
dynamic
spreading.
duo.
We're trying to
We
control
provide this tool
population.
and
We're trying to do all these
available,
things. So,
online, as well as
so
through
that was
our
kind of
app. We allow
interesting.
the opportunity.
Yeah, no,
We
that's
zoom in and
really
out.
positive.
On the water
Again,
body you're
back to the
interested in.
science, right?
Yeah.
Back to the resource. Get the data,
Yeah, so
make the
huge
changes
tool
where
for
we
a
can.
lot of this from our staff.
That's fantastic. I feel the same way Walters does.
Me
I
and my
had this
work to be able
conversation
to
with them.
wrap
Like,
my head around some of these
this is
regulations.
not
Great tool.
something that
If you haven't
I
checked it out,
think is the right
highly encourage you to do
direction.
so. You'll see
But
some
it's coming.
additional maps here.
So and this is goes back to what I posted the other day. Let's
Yep.
make the best out of it that we can because it's coming regardless.
Next up, we have.
Yeah, it's like they took the turd and they put some cream cheese on it and wrapped it in bacon.
That's how it feels. That's how it feels right now, but who knows?
It's a better final
Would you eat
product
it if you're
than-
really hungry, though? Like,
It's definitely
if you
more
had to pick one or the
palatable.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, I was not going to eat a bear turd.
No.
No, Bukema said he'd drink the piss, though. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
it was
that.
a little. Yeah, it was a little crazy. But I mean, there's a long ways to go to get to 2027 still. So like Dave was on earlier, and that's what he said. Like, hey, we got to continue to advocate. This isn't over. Like, this isn't set in stone completely. So we got new commissioners coming in, all
Yeah.
that stuff. So there's a lot to be doing. I know going into the fall, I don't know if I'll be as many of these, during deer season, kind of my time to, who knows, maybe if there's important ones, but we'll definitely be keeping some awareness on all this stuff.
100%. I'm the same way. Usually October and November I fall off. I might come back in December.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez, I've burned 12 days of PTO so
Yeah.
far, so I'm running low, man.
Running low.
I'm running low.
You're going to be weekend warrior ×2 this year.
Double the weekend warrior flow this year. Yeah.
And then Chad talked about the WMI coming in, the Wildlife Management Institute.
Mhm.
They brought them on board to, seems like collaborate with figuring out kind of what Ewan's wanted, right?
Mhm.
Like we need more info, we need more data. Let's do all that. So Chad was on it, and he's got them coming to help look at all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's great. We talk about all these other things like the one buck, the earn a buck, the actual regulations that pass, but we don't pay enough attention to like now we're about to get some data, right?
I know.
Now we're getting some policy reform. Like these are major changes that nobody wants to talk about because they're not sexy.
Yeah, they're not as cool.
Yeah, they're not as cool.
Which is a proponent to see how people are watching, our stream versus watching the DNR's one. Like, it just right now, everyone kind of like had the big push earlier this year, and now they're like, oh, it's like, well, yeah, a lot of people aren't going to be as invested, but that doesn't mean stuff's not still happening. Like,
100%.
So, continuing to, pay attention to those things. And I'm worried about a lot of things, right? Like, we don't know. Like, how's this data going to work? What's going to really happen? Is this going to be something that gets flipped to the entire state? Is this going to be, we're going to go back to normal? Like, there's so much that you just don't even, nothing. Yeah, it seems like nothing's official until you're actually dealing with it through the season. But this is a little more like the pilot program's going to happen is how this feels for sure.
Yeah, and I think it further cements that one buck obviously is here to stick around, where there's been like the talk like, oh, it's 27, it's just a promise, right?
Yeah.
I think when they start passing additional regulations tacked onto that, it's a little bit of reinforcement.
True.
That's coming down the line. Again, like you said, things change over the day, and you could say the same thing for anything that happened in 26, right?
Yeah.
Like, season doesn't start till October 1st.
Yeah.
So what changes. But I'm hopeful. I'm positive that everything sticks, and I think, man, better times are ahead.
Yeah, like it feels like something like you take a minute to like reflect. It's like, holy crap, if you just said in 2024 or 2023 or 2025, this is what we would come up with, you'd be like, that's a win.
Yeah,
it's not the win we
100%.
wanted, but it's a win. Like,
yeah, we got a little
really?
greedy.
We got a little greedy, but still, it's a win, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think my dad was like, really? Like, he was like, there's no way that they did that. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, this is I had so many people tell me, like, call me up. Hey, is it legit, like, that they might do that? I was like, yes, send emails. They're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then they're like, holy cow, it kind of went through. Like, it did. Like, there is some significant change happening in the deer regs in Michigan, which is, like, weird to say.
Yeah, it is crazy. You start hearing about it from different places. Like, I had a buddy of mine who doesn't hunt, might fish. I'm not sure, but not a big outdoorsman, right?
Yeah.
By any means. And like, probably not a consistent license buyer for fishing, even if he does. City kid. But
Yeah.
he called me one day and he was like, hey, man, he was like, I was at my girls' soccer practice. He said, and there's a guy there that's a DNR, a CO. And he said he was showing me this video of some guy trying to shake things up with the commission. Didn't call it the commission. I called it the board or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, like a compilation of like everybody, all of us talking at meetings. Like, it's spreading, right? Like, people are starting to bring awareness on it. Has nothing to do with the things that none of us are demanding. It has everything to do with following science, doing what's best for the resource.
Yep.
That's what's great to see, the unified movement to do what's best for the resource.
And that's like kind of the point that, the guys, the regulars, you and Elliot and Merle and, Dave and these guys kind of came up and said, hey, we've been pushing for this, and this isn't something that, but at the end of the day, it's all about the deer. It's all about the resource. And just because it didn't go exactly how we thought, and maybe this is the answer, like, we're going to support it because we want the deer to win.
Yeah.
And that's like, sometimes it's hard to have that point be shown on a 30-second clip on Instagram, or, a little tidbit that gets pulled from a podcast, and then, the outrage follows when it's like, you're kind of missing where this is stemming from. It's all stemming from taking care of the resource. And it's hard to articulate that until you see guys like see what people are doing to come to these meetings and the research that they're doing outside of it. No money's exchanging hands. This is just like passion and wanting what's good. And there's much more to it. And it's hard to see that until you're around these guys.
It is, for sure. I think there's a notion online a lot of times that it's just the private land community. Like, it was talked about leases earlier.
Yeah.
They don't realize it's such a broad spectrum of guys in this room that hunt private, public, in-state, out-of-state.
Yeah.
We're just hunters,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and the anglers, and
there's
Brian's
guys
point.
that are, love, like, they're passionate, like, the bear hunters and this and that, but we dabble in a bunch of different things, and it's cool to see that. Like, Michigan has that deep, the deep-rooted stuff, but there's only so many people talking. Like, there's not, like, that one meeting we had earlier this year was 300 people here. That's not the normal. Like, there's literally only a few people that are able to do this and have made the effort. So to, pass judgment on that, it's kind of like, it hurts a little differently online when you see it. It's like, dude, you have no idea what that dude's been doing for years. Like, he's for just the pure enjoyment of trying to help the resource. Like, there's something genuine that you get from that. You too, like, you're just talking about your lack of PTO time for this fall because you've been here, doing this.
And it just confirms like how worthless you guys were until a bunch of big hairy dudes started sitting behind you.
Yeah. We bandwagoned that perfect, didn't we?
Dude, that was fantastic. That was still one of the best things. Not expecting it, like to click on that and see it, and then see where it was going.
Yep.
And I can't remember which one of you guys it was that had just like the look of, I didn't know where that was going.
Yes.
Was that you?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going on. I was like, I'm just
Where's he
here.
going with this?
It was great.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, we love it. Yeah, we were bandwagon for sure. We picked the perfect time to join the movement. It's not 12 years of misery before we got to this point. But no, it's it's really good. Really good. So we're getting close to season here, Josh. How's the trail cameras looking? How's the trailer operating? How's the scout trips been?
Garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, trailer's comfortable, but scouting is garbage stuff. I haven't had time.
I know. Oh, and everywhere I have this year is like no beans. It's all corn. So like I have like my deer on camera is way down compared to years past.
Mhm.
But I'm just like patiently waiting. Like beans are gonna turn, the corn's gonna get a little different, acorns start coming. I think I'll have a little, but I haven't found a big deer in anywhere yet. Like usually I can drive around and find like, oh, there's a pocket of them here, or
Yeah.
like catch them somewhere like once or twice throughout the summer. I can't even look at any of those spots right now, so I'm like, I'm gonna kind of go a little blind on some spots.
Yeah, I found like a couple decent deer glassing. Like deer you put in front of me, I'm probably gonna let one fly,
Mhm.
right? But as far as camera wise or anything like that, figuring out where they're coming from, just haven't had the opportunity to put in that legwork yet. So I keep seeing them this season, dude. I'm gonna have fun.
Yep.
I'm gonna go out and slay some does. Not gonna get real serious, guys. A
Heck
camp.
yeah.
I'm gonna go to a camp. Travel
Heck
around a
yeah.
little bit.
Did you draw a tag anywhere out of state?
I haven't tried. Nope.
Okay. Are
Nope.
you gonna? I know you dabble in some over-the-counter states. Are you thinking of one of those still this
Probably
year?
about to put in for Illinois here before
Okay.
it fills up.
Yep.
I do plan on going back to Illinois this year.
Have you been going there consistently? Like, do you go to the same public piece, or do you have like a pretty wide variety of places you go?
Didn't you listen to the podcast? He's got that one finger ridge.
I know, but I'm just giving like real world examples.
We
here for
did
people.
scout multiple pieces when we were
Okay.
down there. So there is.
Yeah, that finger ridge sound pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet, dude. Like, yeah.
Hard not to just go back there.
And to get that.
Is that one of those spots you find yourself randomly at work like thinking about hunting that?
Oh, yeah.
I love those spots.
Like dreaming.
Yeah, like I can't wait to be sitting there.
Like actually had a dream about it.
Oh, like
Yeah.
you're talking
Yeah.
like even at night.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a special place. Holds a special place in my
That's
heart.
good. That's good. So you have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
For that. Like, sweet.
Yep. And
Sweet.
there's some spots here that I'm going to hit too, but mostly weekend stuff probably here.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of cool because you do like the extended drive weekend hunts. Like you're not just going to a family farm for the weekend or the local, 30-minute drive from home.
Yeah.
You're like, you travel like in the state of Michigan to some of these public pieces, thus the trailer.
Yeah, I try to keep it under 3 hours, but yeah.
You'll go hook up to that bad boy and
I'll go.
You're like, you're like what I think in the first episode, you're like a hardcore weekend warrior, I think is what it was. Like, I don't know many guys that are doing that just on, but you've made the system work for you, and that's a good,
yeah,
it's a good thing to do. Cheaper than a lease.
Way cheaper than a lease.
Cheaper than a lease. You can be
Yes,
quick.
that's it.
Yeah. You can be quick, go out, have fun.
A couple weeks ago,
Watch the game in your trailer by yourself.
I
That kind
do.
of sounds nice sometimes.
I do. I have
like,
watched the game when I come home at night.
Undisturbed, yeah.
Then the DNR will show up and do a courtesy check and make sure I'm alive in there.
Love it.
A couple weeks ago, I went for the second time this year. Like I said, I haven't been out, so I went for the second time and hung some trail cams, moved some stuff. On my way home, I stopped at Elliott's. Went out, smacked a couple does, get home at like 2 in the morning, back to work
Sick.
at 7. I'm like,
oh gosh.
Like, remember when you were younger and you could stay out all night and just go to work? Yeah, we're past that.
I'm losing the battle on that. I can do it for stretches, and then it's just like I hit a wall, and I'm just like, that was unhealthy. I gotta stop doing that. Trying to do too much in a day.
I go to bed early and sleep late.
Yeah,
I can't handle any of that stuff anymore.
Yeah. So that's cool, Josh. So yeah, I think one other thing I want to ask you, because you're on the other side of the state from me. Are you hearing anything about EHD or anything like that popping up this year?
No, I haven't
Okay,
really
good.
heard any real major problems yet. And the day I did spend, the weekend I did spend Pound and Public, I hit some areas that I really thought would have been ravaged.
Yeah.
Had EHD hit, I don't want to say ravaged, but may have been affected. And
Yeah.
didn't
Seemed
find
to be
any
okay.
dead deer. Everything seems fine.
I'm looking forward. I'm hoping we don't have 3 years in a row from where I hunt. We had 2 years in a row. 1 year was last year wasn't as bad as the year before, but I found some more dead deer shed hunting that I was like, oh, dead bucks, dead does, and spots that the EHD hit last year, to stereotypical areas you would think. And I was like, geez, 2 years in a row, man. And it's never good walking out to your stand in October and you just smell dead deer,
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling.
I've never had it that bad. I hunted, I don't know what county it is, St. John's, whatever, a couple years ago along the river, and I did have that like smell. We did like a long weekend hunt out there, and I did kind of catch that smell, but not to the point that I've heard it described on the west side.
Yeah.
Where like when it hit Allegan was at 2012.
Dude, yeah, it was so bad.
Yeah, everybody said like you just smelled it all down the river.
Yeah, you could smell it down the river, and it was kind of like that a couple years ago in some spots. Like there was this mass amounts of deer dead like on people's properties. They were just like finding them everywhere, and they stunk all year. And yeah, Ionia, Allegan, 2012, a little bit in Kent County, but that was really bad. And I think where I hunt, it was just as bad 2 years ago as it was then. But I wasn't like the severe area that year in 2012. But yeah, I hate that. It's just like it's hard because you don't know. It's like, hey, do I need to shoot more does? Do I need to just let this go? Like, do I just abandon ship because you don't know what deer are dead, what deer are alive? Because I don't ever have like, it's not like every day I get a picture of a buck I want to kill. So it's like you spend how many sits I spent chasing a deer that I found out he was dead December like 15th, and I hunted him from November. I seen him November 3rd or 4th, and I hunted him all the way until December 15th. And then a neighbor through the grapevine was like, "Oh yeah, look at this buck that I found dead in our pond." And I was like, "Well, that was him. When did you find him dead?" Like October 8th. Like he literally died less than a week later from seeing him. I hate that.
You're like I've been chasing that deer for 3 months and he's been dead.
I know, that sucks. So that's kind of the worst. Like I get that nature takes its course, but it's like, man, I could have invested looking at new spots, or that's the only downside to EHD. That otherwise I can't control the rest of it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But
yeah, it's EHD. It does some damage, and I'm happy again going back to regulation side. The doe proposal that came forward makes it a little bit easier to be reactive when things like that happen.
Yes.
Those are the benefits. People see it and they're like, "Oh, well, we only have 5 now." And it's like, yeah, but there's such a benefit to being able to pull all 5 or pull 4 of them if you really have those 2012 outbreaks again.
Yes.
And being that you guys have had it, the last 2 years, the third year in a row, like it's doing some damage.
Yeah, and I think that's why my buck sightings are down. Like the age class has kind of been skewed a little bit, so I'm trying not to be too critical of what I've noticed the last 2 years. But I'm also like, man, there could be legit, like this could have implications for 3 to 4 years. And I know the problem is, you lose deer to EHD and then neighbors and people still shoot their bucks like normal. Then it's like, wow, I just got double whammied. Like that's the hard part. And yeah, it'll recover. It's farm country. I mean, it just takes time.
Yeah,
it takes time.
It's like you hear that thought of, kind of a natural reset. Like, yeah, okay, well, it's good for habitat, knock the numbers down a little bit. But then you start questioning. You're like, all right, we're in year 3 and knocking the habitat down. Like, what's going on?
Take care of business. So are you doing anything with if you're let's say you struggle to find something by October when you do your thing early October, are you going to pivot to maybe different terrains, different pieces, or are you going to kind of just ride the wave of past years if you're struggling enough? Because I think a lot of guys are in that position year in, year out. Like, hey, I'm maybe 3 years ago I found the deer and had a great season, and you're trying to like duplicate that. And then you have a tough year where you can't find something. And are you a guy that makes hard pivots?
I do make hard pivots.
Okay.
Yeah, I got enough property scouted where I can bounce around pretty good.
Nice.
Thing is, though, that one buck that's been keeping me up at night here in Michigan.
Yep.
I seen him twice last year. I had a shot at him the year before. Never seen him in daylight last year, but I seen him in the morning driving the public run across in front of my truck twice.
Oh, I hate that.
And
like I know he
faster.
made it. Yeah, drive faster.
Yeah.
A real man can hit him with a pickup.
Listen, that would have been a Euro. I would have taken pleasure in that.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
But I know he's still out there. He still made it. So I'll probably focus on that deer again this year and just
like a full season.
Probably.
Okay, nice.
I mean, that's the one that I know about.
And if a poor buck that's not him comes by, you're gonna
depends on what that poor buck looks like. Yeah.
I just love that because I've been in that same boat so many times, and it's like I always get those bucks that are like, I'm hunting one deer, and I see a deer that's like, wow, that deer is like, I'm almost shot you, but I'm gonna take a gamble. And then I never see that deer again. Like, so it's like, man, would I have shot him if I didn't have, so-and-so on my brain? You never, try not to steal opportunities away from yourself, which I kind of did that last year, but not running really any trail cameras. And I just went and hunted, and to be honest, I shot 2 great bucks, but I don't know if I would have shot them in years past if I like knew what was around, but man, I had so much fun. Like, it was kind of nice to kind of like exhale a little bit and just like go hunt. And
Yeah.
it's like, hey, that buck got me going, and it hit the criteria that we talk about, and boom, shot him, and it was great.
Yeah, it's what makes you happy.
And I look at them on the wall, and they're right above they're on the wall, the Euromount wall of all the bucks. I look at that, I was like, yeah, it was a 2024 was pretty, 2025 was pretty cool doing that. So, but this year I'm probably going to flip it and just get psycho on. All it's going to take is one picture or one sighting. I'm like, yep, that's the one. You know, I did that for so many years that it felt good not to do it last year.
Yeah, so I lost one of my crop damage properties this year, so I'm probably like gonna really hammer on some does during season this year, and I always, you
do a pretty good
sling
job.
a few arrows at some does, but this year I think like there's no waiting. Like I see one, it's
good. Like
packed up.
October 1st, whap.
Oh, 100%.
I love
dude.
that. That's a good
100%.
feeling though, knowing like you're going out there like, man, I see you. I'm gonna kill something tonight. Like
Yeah.
I like that. I love October for that reason.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do like a Rob McIntyre at 75 yards, but
that had antlers on its head though. Shout out to Rob. Dude, that video is going to be hopefully coming out here in the next little bit. I got it storyboarded up, so I just got to put it together.
Yeah.
So we got some videos.
I asked them about that when we were at the
meet and greet.
The other Beefcakes meetup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, we might have a Beefcakes record and lift with Uncle Brett.
Oh, dude.
Next meeting, I think we're going to come to the next meeting and then go to his place after, because I don't think we were closer here than we are in the West Side, so
yeah,
we'll
for
be in
sure.
Lansing.
You're
closer.
about halfway there,
Yep.
right? About an hour.
That's what I figured.
10 from
So
there.
we're gonna try. As long as Brian goes, that's gonna be we need the big beefcake. It's September 11th or 12th or something.
Yeah, I already have my outfit picked out. You guys are gonna love it.
I love that.
It's got a big taco.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. So,
That's
but no,
great.
it's gonna be it's gonna be a good time. I'm always excited for the fall. It's like anticipation just builds as we're getting through the summer months. Football's starting. Little man, he came today, and he's got football starting next week. So
Nice.
from now until October 1st is going to go quick in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Quick. It happens. And Brian knows. He's coached a lot, and kids, it like disappears rapidly.
Well,
we got conditioning all week this week, and then split teams. And
oh, you got conditioning already this week?
Yeah, and then we're going to do probably 3 days a week until once the games start.
Yeah, it's 4 days, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, you had that like cold front come through, and it was like 55 at night or whatever. And it was at that moment I was like, oh yeah,
yeah, we're
go.
getting here.
And then you look back, you're like, oh man, we're 2 months away.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad we're 2 months away, because they're like some of my food plots really need some rain.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at them, I'm like, all the beans that we've talked about.
Yep.
I broadcast onto that, and I really need like that driving rain to get that seed into the soil or to germinate. And every time I put stuff out, it's like 3/10, 2/10, and so
it misses you. The heavy rain misses you.
Oh, every time. It's either north or south.
Odd. Yes, it has been, because like north of you, it's been getting hammered with
Pounded.
heavy rains, and then nothing there.
And south, by you.
Yep, by me too. We had some crazy rains. That's
we
why
got
I'm
those
excited
windmills. All those wind turbines
push the air.
blow all the rain around us. Just ask the farmers.
Is there yard signs everywhere that say no wind turbines?
Too late. We already got them.
But the thumb still has. You'll see a house that's like
see it?
vote no on wind turbines, and there's one in their backfield.
Yeah, they're just holding on.
Yeah.
Let everyone know that they didn't want it.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're about wrapped up, Brian. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm ready for some lunch.
I think we can kind of close this out. They already voted on that.
They're talking about water temperature.
Yeah, that's the trout.
Mm-hmm.
In the trout thing. So that's done. That was the last thing on the orders. So now it's going to be the land stuff. So what's the land acquisition? They just vote on that, right?
Yeah, usually it's do you plan to sign these? And they say yes.
Yeah.
Shannon will say yes.
So is Bowen done? Or Bowman done then? Or what?
No, Bowen's, I think he's on a summer vacation.
Okay.
Like the whole summer.
Nice. Gotcha. So she's just filling in for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
gotcha.
where he's at. Because we didn't see him at the last
No.
meeting. I was hoping to get to talk to him today about a few things. And
Yeah. It's kind of what I thought too.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Sweet.
Did you notice Mark Drury was here?
I did not.
Oh yeah, he's still sitting there? We need the other angle. We need it back to someone talking.
Did he look just like Mark?
Yes, it was like crazy distracting.
That's all I was looking at while you were
This guy
talking.
right here.
I didn't
This guy
hear a
right
word
here.
you said.
When the camera's facing the people talking, he's
Okay.
like right on the right corner. It's
Yeah,
like
he
Mark
does.
Drury.
He does kind of look like Mark
Yes.
Drury.
Yeah, Skeeter had a picture, set it up.
I'm just glad he came to support the earn a second buck.
Yeah, we just need to be like, you will have giant deer. I've proven this.
Oh, they're talking about the policy update.
Unmute it, Brian.
Putting them out for public review, hopefully, so we can reach agreement on them by the end of the year. Is there anything else either one of you would like to add to it? Okay, Wildlife Committee.
So the Wildlife Committee met earlier or in late July to discuss bear and fur bear upcoming regulations, of which we compiled a series of questions as to type of data we would like to see on the bear side of things. I don't have that list in front of me, otherwise I would describe that. But we also made a list of items to consider at the Bear Forum on what things that we are kind of looking for and what things we are not looking for, to give some guidance in that regard. Nothing to add related to fur bearers. So very good meeting, and we did forward that to the department.
Yeah, so usually that doesn't happen.
And they took us out of order, so fisheries.
Yeah,
Committee.
nothing to add that's in addition to what Chief Claremont and Dr. Nathan had spoken to.
All right, we'll move on for commissioners' reports. Commissioner Walters.
So there was no muskrat thing I heard. What was that supposed
Once
to be?
again, a very busy month.
I can't remember the details of the
Dam
amendment.
Club on the Black River.
I wonder why they didn't vote on it today.
Discuss, wildlife and fisheries
Missed
issues
it.
that
Yeah,
we
Leslie
are
missed it.
seeing and what we are about to go through.
Waiting for the vote on
I
the
attended the Pigeon River Advisory Council meeting in late or mid-July. That committee or commission is a group that is very near and dear to my heart, in that I served on it for 10 years and was chair for 8. And they are really doing some great work out in the Pigeon River country and advising the department on management strategies, and from forestry to wildlife to fisheries to all sorts of different aspects, including the Black River Ranch, which is a new acquired property that will be included in the confines of the Pigeon River country and managed as such, from what I understand. The following day, I also attended the Black River Ranch celebration, where the director, deputy director, and others spoke. It was well attended and a great celebration. So we welcome the 8,800 acres of property into the Pigeon River country. I also
that was like that
attended
waterway
the
and
Deer
like,
Symposium
like
at
all that
Grand Rack
floodplain
Ranch,
stuff, kind of.
It was
where
actually
deer
a
management,
sportsman's club.
habitat,
Oh, it was.
food
Yeah,
plots,
they're opening
including
up.
planting types,
Supposed to be really
and
good fishing.
what products to be
I
used,
imagine there's probably some
as
good
well
hunting.
Yeah, it
as
should be
the
some good hunting
importance
there.
It'll
of
get overrun this
health
year.
of the herd management
We'll keep
were
that quiet.
included.
Keep that
This
quiet. Yeah. See.
symposium was
There's not very
absolutely
deer up there,
spectacular,
though.
and I thank
There's not a lot of deer
Grand
up there,
Rack
though,
Ranch
Josh.
for the
Until
invitation
they open up
to
the
attend,
floodgates.
and
8,800 acres,
would
that's
encourage
more
if
land than I
the
got within,
commission were to
I
ever
don't
be
know, I feel like
invited in the
5,000
future
acres is about as much as I got
to
close to my
strongly
house. That's a
consider
huge
attending.
chunk,
It
and a
was
lot of people can
very
hunt that
much
5,000
worth
acres
my time
by my place.
and my
so.
wife's time.
It'll push some of those deer into the rest of Pigeon River.
Yep.
Guys start hunting
True.
there.
I
It'll
have
move
been
some stuff around
exploring
a little bit.
the Black River Ranch with.
If they gave it
Very
away, though, I can't
hikes.
imagine it's that great.
And Shannon, did you want to get into
I don't
that
think they
in a
gave it
moment?
away.
Well,
There was a number attached
And
to it.
finally,
for sure.
I would like to wish a happy birthday
for
this
the
Friday
fish.
to Millard
Yeah.
Holton,
Wink, wink.
who was in the
Yeah.
room earlier
What's Dan
today.
Alfink
Have you
always
spent some
says?
time?
Out in the hallway,
Fish-centric
but
state.
he will
Yep.
be turning
Fish-centric
90 on
commission.
Friday,
Love it.
and
Is
he
have you
celebrates
used to
that
walk
date.
around up there? That
Happy
far
birthday
north?
to
Pigeon
Brooke
River?
Farmer.
Yeah.
I've been through Pigeon
Includes
River,
my
mostly
report.
glassing for elk and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I've never actually physically bow
It's
hunted
beautiful,
it.
like driving around up there. I've never, but I've never walked it or hunted it either. It's
Yeah,
just
I've
beautiful.
walked it a little
Part of
bit.
my report was going to
Not
be on
that
the
deep
Black River
though.
Ranch,
Okay.
so thanks for bringing that up. We are still
So
working
this
through
year.
the process
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Stake your
stakeholders,
claim.
I'm on that
public
8800.
works there and staff
Bring some ladder
on what the
stands.
uses
Look
will
at
be
this guy.
there.
He's got his
We're
khakis
going to
on. Doesn't he look
utilize
like he
the
should be a
access
commissioner?
part of
yeah,
it, which are
yeah.
trails and roads
I
through the
agree.
We need to
PA
support that
288
guy. Get him on the
process, which
commission.
will be used
Yep.
for all of our other roads and trails on public land. So
He's
that
probably
will
like,
be
screw
this
those.
fall.
Yeah.
And
I've been
we
dealing with this for
currently
too long.
have some events planned there. So there are some structures that
You
will be
guys should give some
like
of
the
these
property
commissioners
right now
that flyer.
only.
Yes.
Just
See
so
if
you
you can
know,
get
but
them out there, show them things you're working
We're gonna
on.
next meeting. We're gonna talk about it.
structures,
Okay.
So we're gonna get the location hopefully
mobile structures.
solidified today, and then we have a meeting tonight, and then we had a meeting with Farm Bureau yesterday. Talked to a bunch of people. Really, we haven't really told anyone what it is quite yet, but we're in the works to do that, and then get that going. Dodash, baby.
Did you guys make that up, or is that a thing?
It's kind of a thing we
Okay.
talked about, and then Skeeter, just the way he works and his like brain, he's like, all right, I'm taking this and running with it, and we got a website and stuff getting started, so
Nice.
it's gonna be good.
That's cool. That
Yep.
looks like it's going to be a good time. I think the same weekend, I think I'll be down doing the Lenawee one.
Yeah,
But
ideally we would eventually get it where we can all like do the same type of a thing for everyone.
Yep.
So if we kind of get this figured out, then we can say, hey, this is how you guys can do it here, all throughout the state, and make it be easier to get funding and all that stuff. You gonna go take a nap? There you go.
Get you some rest, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you.
We're good break and tell me to work.
Yeah.
You guys take care.
Yep, see ya.
See you later.
But yeah, that's kind of we want to have this be something like SOP, like done in place, and then be like, here you go, this worked, and
Yeah.
like you guys can try it too and make it just better,
Yeah.
and easier to keep doing it. So.
Well, I know the local archery shop by my house is planning on having one, and they, would like to coordinate with some other people too on stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's a good.
Is that are you by Emerson Archery?
So no,
Where's that place? Where's he? I've seen he's
he's
done
in
some
Monroe.
things. Okay.
He's south of me a little bit,
South.
about an hour.
Okay.
I actually was just thinking the other day, like I'm gonna run down there and just see, like, I like his I like his page, his presence.
Yes,
like,
that's what I kind of noticed. Like,
I'm
oh,
gonna
where's
go have
he
that guy
at?
put some arrows together for me or something.
I looked
you
him up and like seen some stuff. I was like, oh man, he's way over there. I was hoping he was. Yeah, 'cause it's just like kind of like seeing stuff like that. and, like,
100%.
See what he's about, because he does like a dough thing too, doesn't he? Or
think
he
he
does
does.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, let's try to get like something in place so it's easy for. We don't have to be the only one like it. Like, let's try to get something in place for everyone, including what processors can do.
Just a plug-and-play model,
exactly.
basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can, and it's cheatable. There's money out there for grants and stuff. Like, let's try to make a difference.
100%, dude. I think that's a fantastic
Mhm.
thing. I mean, my eyes were opened last year when I did it,
Yep.
and I was a part of it. I was like, not only is this like great that it's going to charity and it's feeding people, but damn, I'm having fun.
Yeah, it's a
man.
good time. Yeah, it's like deer camp.
It is like deer camp, dude. Doe camp.
Doe
Dash
camp.
is the new deer camp.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Look at this. This is like deer camp.
I know. That's what I see you guys talking and networking and, relationships. And sometimes guys have different opinions, but you still see them talking to each other in the hallway. And I know you've said how much you've learned from talking to some of these guys. I feel like I'm just a sponge every time around some of these people. Like, they're way more educated on stuff than me. And it's like, hey, I feel like when I leave here, I have a little better understanding of some things.
100%. It's that mentality of like, well, you're a trades guy, right?
Yeah.
I always think about it like, all these guys have all this experience. Those three right there and Merle, like, they've been in the game for so long. They have all this history and expertise, right?
Mhm.
It's similar to the trades where if you don't bring new people up, they take their knowledge with them when they
Yep.
go. And then there's that experience is not there to replace anybody.
Yep.
So it's important that we come up underneath these guys. You don't have to agree with everything they say, but you need to learn from them. Just
Mhm.
pay attention to how they move, how they navigate, and put your own spin on
The
it.
reason why Dodash is going to be good is because of people like them.
Mhm.
Similar concept. Like, hey, we're just going to all these people and saying, hey, we want to do this. What do you think? and you start making some phone calls and emails. It's like, whoa, that happened quick, but we never would have been able to do it by just ourselves that same way, you know?
Yeah, it's hard to get something off the ground. Like that whole co-op right there. Like I think, do they have their own one?
Montcalm, yeah, they have a Montcalm County thing that they form. So yeah, Miller and then Antes, they have a pretty. I want to say the biggest one in Montcalm County, maybe in around even more than that. There's a lot of people in that co-op.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I thought he
cool.
said like 5. I'm gonna misquote it.
Yeah,
so.
there's a lot. They have a Facebook page and stuff, and yeah, just trying to educate and a proponent for.
Well, they got this
quality
APR
deer.
thing going now, so just I mean, I don't know if you guys heard them earlier. They were asking to lower the threshold on the APR to 60%.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And if counties, it really puts it back in the hands of people, right?
Yep.
In the back of
Yep.
the citizens of the county. And if 60% of the people in the county want it, give it to them.
If they vote it, give it to them. Yeah, exactly.
What's wrong with that?
It'd be really cool.
So, I'm gonna go have some chats.
I think I'm
appreciate
about ready to
you
be
guys.
done too. Brian, you about ready to be done? I think we can close this out. So
guys wanna
thanks,
go
Josh.
get some
Appreciate
food?
you. Yeah, we gotta feed the beefcakes around here. So,
All right, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we'll
Thanks
keep
for
in
being here.
touch.
Yep.
I always see you around. See that guy around. All right, everyone. If you're still with us or listening to us later, I think they're just doing some of the land stuff and that kind of a thing. And if you want to listen to it or read more into it or watch it, you can check out the DNR's live stream of the whole thing. So, or their video. But we're gonna sign off right now. Thank you, everyone. See ya.